I think I fucked it up with our claps are not at all in unison, but that's okay.
It doesn't.
You'll
it doesn't
figure it out. How long is it?
Hello, fucking.
All right, I'm sorry. We're in record zone. I'm done with the questions. Let's go.
Oh my god. Hello and welcome to episode 28 of the Nothing to Play podcast, a mediocre podcast about video games, movies, and forest fires. As always, it's your boy, Just-in-Time Carter, and this week, got two guests on the podcast, two little handsome boys. First one, you know damn sure, has pre-ordered his PS5, Troy Smith.
I did not get it, actually. They decided to release it at like midnight while I'm asleep without telling anyone. So
The biggest Sony fanboy, and you don't even fucking have a
I'm
PS5.
waiting to spend $12,000 on the Miles Morales bundle on Christmas, alright?
Yeah, that's what you're waiting for. And our second boy has two of them pre-ordered, one for himself and one for the aftermarket, Tanner Coach.
You think I would do such a thing? Wow.
I know you would.
You know, one time I did try to do that. Well, I thought about doing it. I pre-ordered two of those like Super NES classics, which later on down the road became pretty readily available. But at the time, they were like really hard to find, and I got two of them. Yeah. And I just sold it to Derek at market value so he could have one.
I was like, this is the same guy the day theaters open, no mask, goes to see
I
Tenet.
wore a mask the whole damn time, man, for 3 straight hours. Don't you dare. And there was not a soul there. It was wonderful.
I know Troy, before we started recording, Troy was complaining that theaters aren't open in Washington, so he hasn't been able to see Tenet.
Yeah, like I saw people saying that they went and saw Tenet. I was like, how? When did this happen? Did you fly to China and watch it? I don't know what's going on. Because there's no theaters. I can't see any movies right now.
It's weird. Well, I mean, I was just in Washington last week, and there was one in.
How many movies did you see?
None, but the theater was the theater was open.
All right, that's weird.
And they were playing Tenet and a bunch of they were playing
asshole.
Tenet, New Mutants, and a bunch of garbage indie movies that nobody's gonna ever see.
Maybe I need to drive down to Olympia then.
Did either of you watch Mulan?
Yeah, unfortunately, I shelled out $30.
I tried to watch it, and the app wouldn't work. It wouldn't take my credit card information, so I couldn't even pay the $30 to go see the shitty movie in my own house.
I was scrolling on Rotten Tomatoes today and saw that it ended up having like a 70%. I was like, what is the bar today for having like a good movie? Like, it was bad.
Yeah, see, I saw it, but I refused to pay $30 for it, so you know my ass fucking torrented
Like
it.
everything else that you have.
Oh, wow. See, I don't need to I haven't really torrented much besides Catfish because fucking there's nothing coming out.
Catch up with your MTV dramas.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, they're like FaceTiming fucking Catfish now because they can't fly on planes to their location in other states.
You would think that this show is more successful now because you can't see
really
anyone.
Poetic.
Yeah.
Like more people than ever are getting Catfish now because everyone's at home. Oh man, so how I know Troy's been have the fire's been better at least like where you're at.
For like a week, it was terrible. The smoke was super bad. Like we had to wear masks in the car just driving because it would you would feel it in your throat and stuff. But then it rained and everything's been fine. But then I got super sick, so I haven't been outside in like 2 weeks pretty much.
And how have you been, Mr. Coach?
Good. Busy as all hell. I'm back on my old bullshit that I got rid of for a long time, for like a year. where I have this horrible habit of like buying like 6 games at the same time and just playing them all like a little bit at a time and switching between them all. Like it's just super manic, and I have been good about it because I don't really ever have time to play video games. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to play one game at a time. I'm not going to get another one until I finish it. And then I was doing really good, but then all the shit that I love just started dropping, and I was like, ooh, and now I'm like in a dangerous spot where I'm like playing like 6 or 7 games at the same time.
Which ones did you get?
Well, there's the Tony Hawk 1 and 2 remaster remake. Your boy got 2K21. I have to. It's like my life. I got Mario All Stars, or 3D All Stars, and a couple other games on my Switch. Oh, like months and months ago, like during like prime COVID time, I pre-ordered the impossible to find Ring Fit Adventure, and it arrived at my house out of nowhere like 2 weeks ago. So I've been putting that to use too, which I actually do kind of enjoy. Just, I don't know, like it's like I hate working out at home, but at least I can like semi make it a video game.
Dude, it is fun, dude. I haven't played it in a minute, but last time when I was playing it, one of the levels I was doing it on like hard, and after doing the boss fight, dude, my fucking heart rate was like 163 or some shit. It was fucking intense. I was sweating bullets.
Also, before I got back into this bullshit, I was like deep into Ghost of Tsushima, and I love the fuck out of it.
That game's amazing.
It's so fucking good. But then, like, I got to like midway through the second chapter and just started playing 5 other games because I'm an idiot.
Well, that's where I'm at too. I'm like, it's that Assassin's Creed problem where it's a really good game, but I'm not trying to put 200 hours into this.
Yeah,
thing,
it's really fucking long, but it's gorgeous. But it's kind of repetitive. But they really do a great job of sword play, which is not done well enough in games, considering the technology.
I mean, it's amazing.
Yeah,
I would rather be playing that than Avengers, but here we are.
Troy's like, speaking of things I wasted $65
Well, I was waiting. He was like, oh, I'm playing 7 games at once. And I was like, oh, I bet one of them is full price for that Ultimate Edition, $80-$90 for Avengers.
I also picked up Tony Hawk 1 and 2, and I beat it, but I still want to keep playing because I know I still have like some characters and shit to unlock, but I love it so much.
It's perfect, but I'm like pissed. I don't know if they updated it yet or not, but the multiplayer is trash online. It's like I tried to play with a few buddies, and it was just like manic as hell. It's like 30 seconds, and you have to play with like 12 other people. Like they didn't have like private servers or anything like that. At least at the time, that was like 2 weeks ago. I hope that they fix that to make it more like old. I know that they have couch co-op available on the game, but obviously I haven't played with anybody.
I also picked up the Mario 3D All-Stars, and I'm like, I think about 80-ish shines into Sunshine.
What I was going to say about Sunshine is I do not remember the game being this difficult. Like in regard to like controlling Mario, I can't tell you how many fucking times like I've fallen in the ocean and had to go all the way back and start over at a level like constantly, and that's like the second world I kept doing that at.
So like one of my like only real complaints with the port, besides the fact that the cutscenes look like shit because all they really did was like zoom in and like
to
crop
make it widescreen.
So like, man, it just yeah, I'm like, that's all you fucking did was crop it in. Like, so I'm like, not only did it look kind of bad because it was GameCube cutscene, but then you zoomed in on it, which didn't really do it any favors. And then I guess I understand why they did it. I'm sure they tested a bunch of different things, and this was just the one that made the most sense and worked. But like control-wise for Flood, like on the GameCube version, the R trigger on the GameCube is like where you push it in, and then you can push it into the point where it actually clicks. And for Sunshine, you can run and spray Flood by just pushing in on the R trigger, but then when it's fully clicked in, you're stationary, and then you can like just stand in one spot and like control it up or down or whatever. But since the ZR button on the Switch doesn't actually like go in like a normal trigger, it's just a button that you push, they just made like that where you run and Flood, and then they made the actual R bumper button or whatever the stationary. So instead of one button, it's 2. But I don't know how they really would have fixed that since the game was made for GameCube. So it's like, I guess that's what works, but it's kind of annoying.
You
having to
know,
switch
like
between
the
two buttons.
GameCube controllers for Smash Bros. That they have for the Switch, they should let you use it. That'd be cool.
So they do let you use it. It is compatible, but it doesn't make a difference.
Oh.
Like, it's just like using a normal Pro
they
controller
remap
or
the
whatever.
controller regardless.
Yeah, like it doesn't like force GameCube controls onto it just by using the GameCube controller. It still just would use it if you were using like a Hori controller or the Pro controller. But I completely agree. I was like, I would totally shell out the fucking $50, $60 for the Smash Brothers GameCube controller if that was the case, just because I love Sunshine.
It's the one that I've played the least of the three on the game because, like, I never had it. I never owned it. Like, I just played it at friends' houses or whatever. So I don't have as much nostalgia for Sunshine. Like, I have great nostalgia for it because, like, I always wanted it. And then, like, I bought it at Game On Expo, like, 2 or 3 years ago. And barely played it on my GameCube. And so, like, now, specifically because the shitty, like, 4x3 format of the GameCube and stuff, I, like, wasn't into it. But then I was like, all right, now I'm stoked for this. And, of course, I'd love to play Galaxy again. And I never had a 64 when I was a kid, but I had the DS remake of Super Mario 64. So I played that religiously.
Dude, that's like... what was I gonna say? I'm also sad that on the Super Mario 64 that I guess they got rid of the "Bye Bye Gay Bowser" line in the game. Now it's just like "Sayonara" or something like that. He's like "Bye Bye" instead of saying "So long, Gay Bowser."
Damn, George Lucas in it.
I know.
So welcome to this special Marvel Edition podcast.
Right? So yes,
I forgot why we were here. Yeah.
Yeah, so the reason why I have these two boys on the podcast was if you haven't listened to the previous episode of the podcast with Matt, pause this podcast, stop whatever you're doing, leave your kids in the car by an ungated pool, whatever, and listen to all like 2.5 hours of that podcast where we ranked from 1989 to 2020 all the DC live action movies. And because of that, Tanner and Troy both apparently did not agree with my and Matt's hot takes on some of the more modern DC movies. Or Troy fucking's gonna die on that hill for fucking Jonah Hex.
No, all right.
The love for that.
Hey,
movie.
Megan Fox was hot in that movie, all right?
I've never seen it, so I didn't even
Well,
know
that's what pissed me off. Honestly, I remember I was so
Is she like 10 in that
yeah,
movie?
maybe, I don't know.
Like, when is this
But that's what pissed me off is like every movie I complained about on your list, you were like, oh, well, I didn't see Birds of Prey. Well, how the fuck are you going to rank a movie if you've never seen the movie, you know?
So, I did, after doing it though, I did watch Birds of Prey. So, after ranking the list, I have now seen Birds of Prey.
And what did you think of it?
And I'd say I'd put it in decent. Like, it had some moments. I honestly don't think Margaret Robbie's like can carry like a whole movie herself, basically. Like, she's a good Harley Quinn, and she did have some like funny moments and shit. And it's like, I thought like, you know, Huntress like had her like funny moments and stuff, and there wasn't like, I wouldn't say there was any one like particular thing that was necessarily like bad about the movie, but it just wasn't like great. Like, I probably wouldn't watch it again. Like, if it was on, I would watch it, but I wouldn't go out of my way to watch it again.
That was the last movie I saw in theaters, actually, right before COVID hit, and I loved it. I honestly thought it was amazing. Like, I was like, this is my Gotham. Like, we need R-rated Batman movies. We need, like, every character to be absolutely psychotic. Like, the Black Mask, I've never liked Black Mask as a character, and that version, when Obi-Wan is doing Black Mask, that was the best. Now, I now like Black Mask.
I will agree. Black Mask was like, he was fucking crazy. He's like yelling at that chick to like get on the table. So I was like, this motherfucker's
like
insane.
actually crazy, not cartoonish crazy, but like an actual crazy person.
Like having a physical meltdown in public, crazy. What'd you think of it, Tanner?
I thought it was decent. Like, it wasn't my favorite, but I didn't think it was bad. Oh, I'm tripping out. I thought I just heard my wife scream in my ear. That was weird. Yeah, PTSD. No, I thought it was pretty decent. Like, there were aspects of it that I really loved. I thought stylistically it was great. Like, I thought the colors really popped well and stuff. I think my issue, I guess, one thing that stuck out to me was like Black Canary. Like, I feel like it was just like, if you're not a DC fanboy, then that was really out of left field. And I've talked to people about that who saw the movie or not familiar with DC comics or anything like that. I'm like, what did you think about the Canary character? And they're like, what the fuck was with that shit? I was like, yeah, I mean, they gave like the tiniest little subtle hints about like her powers or whatever, but if you're not familiar with DC at all, like, it's like the last 5 minutes of the movie and she just does this wild fucking shit, and like, narratively speaking, for general audiences, like, that's just fucking whack. Like, but like, I thought the movie was pretty well done, honestly. I thought it was decent.
Also the only moment in the entire movie I can think of there where there was like any meta powers. So yeah, you see how that made no sense to people.
Dude, that is true. Like, when you put it that way, I'm like, yeah, like, everyone else is more or less just kind of like physical fighter, like, brawl in the street type. And she's just like, yeah, I'm just going to belt out a scream and like fucking blast everyone 10 feet backwards. But yeah, so that was the last podcast. So they got upset about it. So then I said that I would have them on for this podcast so that, we could review the Marvel Cinematic Universe from, what years is it? The 1998 to 2020.
I just want to state for the record, I never said anything about your DC list. And I was like, Tanner's upset and he's got to come on and bullshit about Marvel movies. I never said a damn thing about that list. But I did have some disagreements with it, but I don't remember what they were on the top of it. I remember that Constantine was listed as like God tier. And that was like one of two movies that I hadn't seen from that list. Because we've talked about it on this podcast several times before, about my history of Constantine and my lack thereof ever seeing it.
It's because I love Constantine, and Matt would not fight me on that, and I was like, it is going no
it's
lower.
Gotten honestly, over the
like,
last few years, it's gotten a
great.
really big like cult following to where now people are like, God, that fucking Constantine movie, man, so good. But,
I mean, I liked it a lot. I would say it's pretty good, but I wouldn't say it's like. What's weird too is I'm a huge Hellblazer fan, like from the comics, and they changed so much to fit like that movie that it's like, yeah, it's a good movie, but like, have you seen the TV show? Have you seen like the Matt Ryan version?
So I have, and it's like weird because I can separate the two, because I'll agree, like, Keanu Reeves looks nothing like him. Like, the TV show like, that is comic book Constantine up and down. I'm not going to say Keanu Reeves is comic book Constantine at all. But at the time, you know, when it came out, which was like 2005 or something like that. Like, it was great. And I mean, at that time, I hadn't even honestly heard of like the comics. Like, I didn't even realize like
I'm
Hellblazer,
sure for
like,
early 2000s comic book adaptations, it's probably pretty good. But anyway, Marvel movies.
Yeah, isn't this a Marvel podcast? We're talking about a ton of DC movies.
God damn, dude, you guys are acting like there's like fucking like 48 movies on this list to get through or something.
There is.
And they're trying to speed this along.
I'm gonna have shit to say about some of these entries, so yeah. We don't want a 3-hour long podcast.
All right, Tanner wants to cut the guff, so let's start on our list here with 1998 Blade.
I don't think I've seen Blade since I lived in the 90s. So, like, honestly, I don't have a great opinion here. I imagine it's at the very least watchable, for sure.
I haven't seen it in a long time. I mean, I remember liking it. I would definitely say it deserves to be, I'd say, like, no lower than decent.
Yeah, I mean, I would even say pretty good. I remember liking it, like, separate from whatever the Blade trilogy. We'll get to those movies, but Blade on its own, I thought the first one was pretty good.
All right, so then are we willing to put Blade 1 in pretty good?
Yeah, and we don't have, like, limits on any of these, like, categories, right? Like, there's not, like, a cap.
No, there's no cut. Like, honestly, if everything, like, there could be one in, like, not A tier. Like, it doesn't matter. There's no... And then at the end, once everything's in too, we can kind of go through at the end and see if like once stuff falls into certain places, if we think it should get bumped up or down.
I abstain from a Blade opinion, so I'll go with what you guys put. So pretty good sounds pretty good to me.
All right. So then next, we're jumping to the year 2000, Y2K, with X-Men.
So X-Men's kind of interesting. It hasn't aged particularly great, but it was actually really seminal for the time. Like, the illustrious Christopher Nolan always talks about how, what he did with Batman Begins, he was so pissed off because, like, Bryan Singer, who, disclaimer, of course, is a pedophile, and he did make a majority of these X-Men movies, so let's just say that right ahead of time. Let's set aside the fact that a fucking piece of shit creep made the majority of these X-Men movies, and let's just look at them on their film merits here. But original X-Men movie, for its time, was really fucking cool, like, because it did, like, a realistic, if you will, as much as you can with X-Men, like, it did, like, a real-world approach to those comics, so I thought it was like pretty revolutionary for its time, but I think over time it's gone down quite a bit. But I would myself personally, I'd go with like a decent for this one.
What about you, Troy?
I actually rewatched a lot of the X-Men movies recently when I think Logan came out. I did a whole Hugh Jackman run, and I remember liking the first one. Like it's a little weird, like
it's like good story wise. It's just like action wise and stuff. It's like really silly, like Sabretooth. Like they didn't know how to do action, and then like of course like the dialogue. Some of it's great, like the banter between like Scott and Logan is amazing in that movie. Yeah. But like the how do you kill a frog line, like that Storm does, like zaps him is just like one of the most cringeworthy things in all of cinema. Which, by the way, that line was written by Joss Whedon.
I actually met Ray Parker recently,
that's awesome.
Last
Ray
year.
Parker's dope,
and yeah, he was the shit. And everyone was talking. It was a Star Wars invention. Not to sidetrack from this list, but he said that he filmed a whole scene for X-Men 2 where Fraught was supposed to have like a huge lightning scar across his face, and he had like the makeup and everything, and it was just going to be like one fight scene, and then they cut it, and it was never in the movie. So, like, yeah, they were planning to keep working with that character, but yes, people didn't like... I don't know, they didn't like him or something.
No love. So it sounds like it's going to fall somewhere between pretty good and decent. What are we thinking?
Yeah, I mean, what was your thoughts, Justin?
Oh, yeah. I mean, again, this is one that it's like I haven't watched in a long time, but I remember at the time, of it coming out, it was one of those where... for a superhero movie, like, it fit the bill. Like, it did. I love Patrick Stewart, and he is, Professor Xavier to me.
Yeah.
And stuff. And Hugh Jackman played fucking
pretty
Wolverine
good it is.
Pretty
good it is.
Pretty good. I think it's pretty good, yeah.
All right. So, would you put it before or after Blade?
Before.
Oh, is that also a thing? Like, are we ranking them in order?
Okay,
yeah.
Cool. Personally, I would put it before Blade, but I abstained from Blade, so I don't have the best judgment there.
Yeah, Tanner had no opinion on Blade, so of course he'd fucking put it in front of Blade.
Because Wesley Snipes is an asshole.
I mean, yeah.
Alright, so I guess we'll put it in front of Blade then. So then, next on our list, we have 2002, Blade 2.
Blade 2, directed by Guillermo del Toro.
Yeah, actually, I loved Blade 2. Out of the whole trilogy, I think it's great. Like,
Blade 2 is definitely the shining point. I'd go with a great.
Yeah, I would say the same. Definitely out of the trilogy, it's the best one. And I remember there being so much hype when Blade 2 actually came out, like in theaters and stuff around that time. So I think we're all pretty much in agreement then that it's going to go into the great spot.
Great it is. Chugging along nicely. Here we go.
I know. I told you we'd get.
We have done 3 movies.
But up next, though, also 2002, Spider-Man.
Woo! Oh shit. Spider-Man. I watch the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies all the fucking time. Like the first one. has aged strangely. I think it was like really great at the time. I still remember seeing it in theaters. The only thing that I think doesn't play super well these days is just the fucking Power Rangers helmet that Willem Dafoe has to wear as Green Goblin. But other than that, I think it still holds up like really well as like a Kirby era like comic film.
Yeah, I really like that movie. I think it's the best Spider-Man that memes have come from. I'm a bit of a scientist myself, but I think William Dafoe is perfect in that movie. Like,
Yes.
I'm not a huge fan of Topher Grace actually. Now that we've seen a couple other Spider-Mans,
Tobey
but
Maguire.
William Dafoe was so good at Green Goblin. They've had like 20 Spider-Man movies, and they've never rehashed Green Goblin, so I think it's a pretty good movie.
They have actually in the Amazing Spider-Man 2, which we'll talk about later.
Oh, all right, yeah, we'll get to that. I don't remember those Amazing Spider-Man movies.
But I would put it as pretty good, I think.
I would agree to that. I remember seeing this in theaters, and I'm not even a huge Spider-Man fan myself, but I remember coming out of it, pretty hyped on Spider-Man and stuff like that, and I thought they did a really good job. So I'll agree. I'm gonna put it at the very front of pretty good.
Am I supposed to be seeing this list like update in front of me or something?
No, that's why I sent you the link so that
I've
you
been
could do
moving
it.
my own. Yeah.
Oh, all right. I thought this was
Yeah.
like a shared. I thought it was the year 2020 or something, and we had shared abilities.
I mean, I could share my screen if you want, and then you can see my... Where the fuck is Zoom? Oh, it's all small. That's why. I was like, what the hell? Here, I was like, would you prefer that? Would you like me to share? Multiple participants can share simultaneously. Here, do I just click this? Okay, there we go. Yeah, share this. There we go. Can you see my doodle now?
God, yeah, my whole thing just erupted. Yeah, all right. See, that's cool. Yeah, all right.
All right. So there you go. It's even though it's the year 2000 in
7
Washington. Oh, whatever. Okay, I'm sorry. I don't know. I don't fucking live in Washington. Sorry.
Yeah, time differences, man. It's that daylight savings time. It's weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, but speaking of weird, we're about to jump into 2003's
fuck.
Daredevil.
Yes. Benny Affleck.
Oh man.
Wow. I don't know where to
I don't know,
start
like-
with Daredevil. Like,
I'll tell you right now, it's not going any higher than one.
Yeah, I was just thinking. I was like, it's one of those.
I
bottom
agree.
two, man.
I think the best part for me is just watching it ironically and just like laughing at Colin Farrell's over the top bullseye with this fucking head thing that he's got going.
God, I hate
bullseye.
him as Bullseye.
I never miss.
Even though that entire movie is full of
and
nothing
there's
but
a
him
if you I don't know if you guys
all
have
the
ever
time.
seen it, but there's actually a director's cut of Daredevil, which is quite different from the theatrical cut.
I did not know that.
That's what I've heard, and I've heard that the director's cut is
It's way better, but still
than the
terrible.
theatrical.
It's way better, but still really bad. But it's got a fucking subplot where Matt Murdock is like the defense attorney for Coolio, the rapper, who's on trial for murder. And it takes like a 20-30 minute like detour in the movie of him just like trying to save Coolio from jail. But it's also like edgier because like there's this scene where Bullseye like is jealous of Daredevil's costume and he goes, I want a fucking costume. Like shit like that. It's really ridiculous.
So see, I would never watch that movie again, but I would watch that. I would watch the director's cut just for...
Yeah, I was about to say it should be an unwatchable, but it's bad. Like I'm getting flashbacks of when he like blind fights on the seesaw.
Oh, yes,
like
the
that.
park scene, yes. Oh, that's cringe.
So I'm going to argue that
I'm
it's
gonna agree with
watchable
you, Justin.
I
think it's
yeah,
watchable.
solely because two, I know what's coming up on this list,
Yeah.
and it is light years better than half the shit that we're
Oh,
about to
yeah.
get
I mean, this will
into.
not be the hill
So,
I die
think
on.
it
I know
deserves
there's some
watchable.
movies I'm gonna fight you guys on later, but yeah, I don't care. Watchable, whatever.
Okay, so yes, we'll put it in.
I would rather
watchable.
rewatch all 3 seasons of the Netflix Daredevil show, though.
I mean, you're not wrong. I would also rather do that. So, in 2003, we also have X2.
X2, man, that's a fucking great one, man. I mean, it was really good. I'm torn. I think it's, for me personally, I think it's in one of the top 2 categories. Like, I think it still holds up really fantastically today. Like the scene of Wolverine against the fucking SWAT dudes in the house. Oh, that shit is so dope. I don't know. What do you guys think of X2?
So I'm gonna be the complete opposite. I
You
don't
hate
think it
it?
should go any higher than decent.
Whoa.
Like I said, I watched it maybe 2 years ago. It's honestly, it's terrible to me. Like it's the plot. Like, all right, cool. Hugh Jackman's awesome in it. There's some good fight scenes. Pyro is a little weird douchebag in that movie, but the plot is so bad. Like with the Striker stuff and Weaponettes and Lady Deathstrike, like it's all over the place. They like throw in Phoenix at the very end for basically no reason. I don't know. I really did not enjoy watching that movie again.
You like the original X-Men more than X2?
Yeah, I liked X-Men 1 more
I'm
than
shook.
X2. Yeah.
What are your thoughts on X2,
All right,
Justin?
so it's been a while since I've seen this one too. I mean, out of the 3, I mean, I'd probably say that I thought it was probably the best out of the 3. But
I mean, Stryker
So-
has a son who like has the exact same powers as Xavier, and he builds like a Bougie Yeto Cerebro to heal all the mutants. Like for no, like it's not explained at all. Like that's the plot. Like the plot is he hunts down mutants for the government, and then for no reason, oh, I have a son that could have done this 10 years ago. I'm just now using it. Like, I don't know. It makes the entire plot kind of seem useless if he had this, like, end-all, be-all in his back pocket. It makes the entire movie seem kind of dumb. I won't fight you on it, but I would like it at least to be pretty good if we're going high with this.
I'll accept pretty good. I'm down with that.
all right,
It's a early.
All
We're
right,
we're
I'll
in the
say-
very early 2000s here. I'll take a pretty good
Yeah.
adaptation here.
all right. So it sounds like it's going in pretty good, and to meet Troy in the middle, I'll put it behind the first X-Men. All right, so then our final film of 2003, dude, this one's great.
Hulk unwatchable for me. There's not a redeeming factor to that film. Watching him fight giant poodles and then fucking God, it's so boring. It's so, everything about it is terrible. And that was
you
directed
don't
by
like him staring into a puddle for 30 seconds trying to figure out who
It was
he is?
directed by Oscar-winning filmmaker Ang Lee of Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, and Brokeback Mountain fame. Yeah,
Pedigree.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm fine with unwatchable. It's a terrible movie. Yeah.
Dude, I think at my mom's house, I still have one of the toys from that movie where it's just a super jacked up Hulk, but like his arms don't like really bend. So it's like the back part just kind of like folds in half so his arms can actually get in front because he's so fucking muscular.
God.
That's just a little tidbit there. Ooh, so starting off 2004, The Punisher.
You know, this movie gets shat on like really hard, and it always has been since it was released. But like, in my younger years, I thought it was actually a decent action movie. Like, it's not a great Marvel Comics Punisher movie, but I thought it was overall a fairly decent movie. Like, it.
Yeah.
I still really
I love
like
Thomas
it.
Jane.
like
He's
too,
a great
actually,
actor.
yeah.
I love Thomas Jane. He's a great
Yeah.
actor.
The fight scene with Kevin Nash,
Yes,
like where they're
yes,
just
it's
destroying
brutal.
the apartment and stuff,
Yeah.
is a great scene.
With the music and
Yeah,
stuff,
yeah.
he's like throwing him down
Yeah.
the stairs.
And like, yeah, it's not really a good Punisher movie according to the comics, but I still really like it. I'll watch it. I mean, what's his name? John Travolta's terrible in that movie, but I mean, I'll still watch it right now. You know.
Oh man, so are we thinking pretty good for this one?
My personal vote is decent, but let's average it out with what you guys think.
I'll put decent. I don't really care.
All right, so sounds like it's going first spot in decent. Because yeah, I really there was just a lot of funny moments in that movie too, like with the popsicle blowtorch
Yeah.
scene and stuff, and like the dude, the one kid or whatever, where he fucking puts the grenade in his hand. He's like, "Hey, you look like you work out."
Yeah,
Or whatever.
yeah.
Try holding this with your arms stretched out. So yeah, there's a lot of good ones. So dude, man, 2004 has some bangers. Spider-Man 2
Man,
is
I
the next
adore
one.
Spider-Man 2. Like that for me personally, it's a god tier. But like it would be hard for me to accept anything less than great. Like for Spider-Man 2. But I would love to hear your arguments if you disagree.
See, my first impulse was I was gonna put it in great. Out of the Sam Raimi trilogy of Spider-Man movies, I definitely think it's the best one, and I think it's still very much watchable to this day. And Doc Ock
I've watched
is
it like
amazing
twice in
it.
the last 3 weeks. I love it so much.
I did not like Spider-Man 2.
Oh my god!
Yeah, I think it's not as good as Spider-Man 3, even in my opinion.
What the fuck?
I don't think Doc Ock is done very well. He has weird schizophrenia because the arms have artificial intelligence, which is never explained when he's talking about the arms at all. Like they just all of a sudden have snake personalities. He kills his wife and then tries to rebuild the machine to bring her back to life. It doesn't make any sense. I don't know. I mean, we can make it right. Like I will remove myself from this because I know I am the only person on the planet that does not like Spider-Man 2. But also, I really like Dr. Octopus in the Spider-Man comics because he is like a metaphor of what would happen to Peter Parker if he dove 100% into science and he didn't have like Mary Jane or Aunt May, and they don't touch on that.
The superior
at
Spider-Man,
all.
if you will. But,
Yeah.
Well, my reasonings for loving this movie is because of just the human element that they take with it. Like they really do Peter so well. They do the Spider-Man No More saga in there, and I just feel like they just kick the shit out of him emotionally and like financially and shit like so hard that like everybody can feel with that character like so hard. And Tobey Maguire is such a sad sack. Like it's just like great to me. I just feel like the emotional heft of it, and like James Franco is ridiculous in all these movies, and I love it. But and I personally think Alfred Molina is like, I love his Doc Ock. I love Doc Ock. I know it's not the same, and you made some valid points about the validity of like the villain aspect of the movie, but I think that's what it is because they made this version of the character, he's such a good person. Like at the end, like he's the one that stops everything.
I do
yeah.
really like the end of that movie. I like when he saves Mary Jane and he shows that he is Mary Jane, as he's like, well, fuck, like I have to, even though I know this now puts you in danger and it does solve all my problems, but you could tell that he doesn't like that he's showing her. So that's why I say I will not argue with it. I'm just saying personally, see, I will give you a hint. A lot of these are going to be comment-based opinions, and I know that's probably not the best way to watch a movie, but yeah, that's why I have problems with Spider-Man 2, is that it is not comic book accurate.
All right.
And yeah.
All right. So Troy's, I assume his vote here is decent, or is it worse than decent?
No, I'll do.
Okay.
Honestly, I'll even say pretty.
He says pretty good. I say God
I
tier. What do you say, Justin?
See, I would put it
Okay.
great.
So let's meet in the middle and do
meet
great.
in the middle.
Great is fine with me.
Yeah.
But great
Would you put
before Blade 2, yes, please. Guillermo won an Oscar for much better movies. He can be okay there.
Oh man, well, I mean, speaking of other Blade movies, ending 2004, we got Blade Trinity.
This is one of 2 movies on this list that I haven't seen, so I cannot give an answer here.
I legitimately think it's unwatchable. I think
that's
not
the general
just-
audience consensus.
Yeah, like the bad guy is like Dracula, but it's the dude from Prison Break, and he does basically nothing. You have Jessica Alba and what's his face, Deadpool is in it, and like they have nothing to do with anything. It's Triple H is in it, and there's a like a Pomeranian werewolf dog. It's a garbage movie, and they had the CG Wesley Snipes' eyeballs open because he refused to film the movie with his eyes open. I don't know. It's a ridiculous movie. I will never watch it again.
That is so funny. It sounds unwatchable. Directed by David S. Goyer, who is the co-writer of the first two Christopher Nolan Dark Knight movies. Fun tidbit.
I think we're pretty much in agreement here then that. So I'm assuming though it's gonna go before Hulk.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. Yeah.
Yeah, like that's why. You're like, I'd rather watch it just for
if
the
I
shit show
had
purpose
to watch
of
one
CGI
or the
eyes.
other, I would watch Blade 3 for the laughs. There's nothing funny about Hulk.
Exactly. Okay.
Oh man. Oh man. Speaking of nothing funny, 2005 Elektra.
This is the other one that I have not seen.
Oh, pro tip, I'm just saying it fucking sucks. I'm just gonna go out like speaking of movies where the person can't carry as the lead.
Jennifer Garner.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't think she was like that great a character in the Daredevil movie. So yeah, let's give her her own fucking movie.
Yeah, there is one cool scene in it. I would still put it above Hulk. Hulk is going the bottom of this entire list. All right.
Really?
There is one whole scene where they have Tattoo Man in the movie, and it's like he has a wolf tattoo on his chest, and like the wolf comes out of his. And it's terrible CG. Like it did not age well, but I remember seeing that and thinking, man, that is such a cool fucking scene, and that's the only thing I remember from that movie.
Man, there wasn't really a lot to remember from that movie then, huh?
No.
That's like the main. I was like 2005 now. We have Fantastic Four.
God, just looking at the years 2005 through 2007 is brutal.
Yeah. It was not a good time for superhero movies in these upcoming few.
All right, so the very first entry of, or the second entry, 2005.
Fantastic Four. Yes, I was like, dude, honestly, I literally had to click back on the Wikipedia article because I couldn't even remember what the fucking movie was.
It was
even
the
though
first.
I just said it. That's
I'm sorry,
unforgettable.
actually, the second. The first one was never released. It was a Roger Corman adaptation, but Fantastic Four, 2005, baby. Tim Story, director.
Well, I was like, the last time I saw this movie, if this tells you anything, was that backyard party at my parents that Megan threw for me, where we screened bad Marvel movies, and this was on the list of them that were viewed that night.
It's so early 2000s.
I would put it watchable. I don't really remember a lot of that movie. So I would watch
any
it again.
horrible movie that has comedic, ironic value will never go lower than a watchable for me. And it's just hilariously stupid just looking at Michael Chiklis in the Thing costume. like just looking at him is enough ridiculousness for me. Jessica Alba plays the Invisible Woman, and she's so horrible.
I will say my one redeeming thing about the movie is at least Doom's suit looked
Doom's
cool,
suit
and that was
looked
it.
Comic-ish accurate, and also
even though
Yeah.
they
I thought you were gonna
destroyed
say
his
Captain
storyline.
America's Johnny Storm was the one redeeming factor, because that seems to be the one aspect that people generally like. But watchable it is.
See, my thing is, I like Doom, and out of all the Fantastic Four movies we've gotten, this is the only one where he actually looks like Doom. Would we put it behind Daredevil?
I would put it before Daredevil. As there's nothing I remember about that movie that was as bad as some of the stuff I remember about Daredevil.
Oh man, so rolling with the punches. After Fantastic Four, we're jumping to 2006 with X-Men: The Last Stand.
Oh shit! X-Men: The Last Stand. Wow. God damn that fucking movie, man. I'm the Juggernaut, bitch. That's like the only thing that comes to my mind. That's the first thing that comes to mind, at least when I think of that movie.
It's because that's the most memorable moment of that movie.
Yeah, it's a meme.
It's a meme, and because of its memeability, I would probably put it at watchable.
I have a real problem with X-Men's desire to continually make Dark Phoenix. Like,
yeah,
like I actually read like the old X-Men comics, and like Jean Grey is the Phoenix for a while, for like a year as a good guy Phoenix, like controlling the powers, and then is manipulated by what was their name? The Hellfire Club, and then becomes evil. For some reason in the movies they always want to go, oh, the moment she gets the powers, boom, evil. And she's that's just me, comic book nerd problem, but also she's terrible in this movie. The CGI is really not good. Like, they have that scene where it's when they find her as a child. Like, you have Magneto and Professor X, and it's like really heavy makeup / CGI, and it looks really bad. Yeah, I don't like this movie at all.
Do we want to just go straight?
Would you put
unwatchable?
it as unwatchable?
Oh, I'd put it. I'd put it the last unwatchable.
Whoa.
I mean, you can argue higher. I don't care.
Justin, it looks like you want to put it on watchable. I feel like that's where you're going with.
I
I
mean,
agree if that's what you're thinking.
Like,
I'd put it at the bottom of watchable.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm fine putting it at the end of watchable because, like I said, all I remember from that movie really was I'm the Juggernaut bitch, and it was just them fighting by.
I remember
that lake
Magneto
for like
moving
hour.
the Golden Gate Bridge. I remember that.
They also have Beast. They have Frasier.
Yeah,
as
Frasier
Beast.
was Beast. That's memorable.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was actually probably the best part of that movie.
Yeah, and they didn't use him at all. Like, he's in the movie for like 5 seconds.
Yeah, he's wearing a business suit the whole time.
So then next, after
Oh, holy shit.
going
Goddamn.
2007,
2007.
one of
I
Tanner's
remember that year very
favorite
well.
movies,
I remember that year very well. I am
Ghost Rider.
an insanely huge Nicolas Cage fan. And goddamn, Ghost Rider. It's funny enough, I have the Stars channel, and they're always playing these horrible they played the Fantastic Four movies and Ghost Rider all the fucking time, and so I'll put them on and watch like 10 minutes of it here and there. And like a couple weeks ago I watched the last like 30 minutes of the original Ghost Rider. Did the same thing with Spirit of Vengeance as well. And yeah, it's so bad. Like, it's like not even like funny bad. I'd say it's just straight unwatchable, maybe. I don't know, I could give it a watchable, but I don't
even remember. All I remember is him like screaming the first time that he turns into the spirit, and I don't remember the rest of that movie at all.
God, all I know is, dude, the CG for his head did not.
What about
age
the CG
well.
like ripped body they gave Nick Cage in the one shirtless scene? Yeah, I don't know. It's between watchable and unwatchable for me. I can't decide.
I mean, I would put it the first
of
in
unwatchable. I think that's a good.
Yeah,
I
see,
think
that's
that's
what
a
because
good.
I know the sequel is coming up, and that is not good.
I honestly have never seen the sequel because I had no.
I'll
interest.
give some takes on that when we get there.
Yeah, since Tanner's the biggest fan. Next, so after Ghost Rider, man, this was a rough year for movies here. We got Spider-Man 3.
All right, so I know you guys are gonna shit on this, but I want to give my one effort. The story of Eddie Brock and Venom is accurate. It is legitimately how it happens. It's actually done pretty well. Peter Parker's just being a fucking asshole to Eddie Brock. Like, you say what you want about the casting, say what you want about like the character design. The story actually is good and accurate. All right. So, I mean, I actually kind of enjoy it on that aspect alone.
Here's my view on Spider-Man 3. I absolutely adore it in the worst ways. Like, to me, it's like The Room. Like, it's like The Room of comic book movies. It's so fucking horrible that I love every second of it. Like, I feel like the entire cast and Sam Raimi, which I know for a fact Sam Raimi didn't give a fuck about that movie because he vehemently did not want to use Venom, and Sony was like, Venom's our most popular character, you're putting him in there. So it's like, all right, we're gonna shoehorn him in there then. And the movie is so hilariously over the top ridiculous. I just love it. The jazz scene, the gyrating on the streets, like,
Oh
it's
yeah,
so
that's hilarious.
it's so horrible. It's like, or him and Eddie Brock's like, your work's trash, Brock. And he's like, find us some shade. Like, it's so emo Peter is my favorite. Like that movie. It's so funny. I have a story. When I saw it back in 2007, I went to the theater to go see it on the premiere day, and the movie there was about it was during the climax. There was about 15 or 20 minutes left, and it was film days. So like the projector, the film started fucking up, and the audio completely cut out, and it kept going in and out. And then then it got to a point where there was no audio at all, and we were just watching like the climax of the movie, and it's just dead silence in the audience for like a minute, and then somebody in the audience just starts yelling, well, this movie fucking sucked. And, like, everybody just blasted out laughing because it was just so horrible. But I love it for how bad it is. That's my take. Justin.
I mean, I will say it is definitely the worst.
I think this is the most
trilogy.
memeable Marvel movie.
Oh
yeah, well,
yeah.
to this day, that meme of fucking Peter making that stupid fucking face where he's like looking to the left or whatever, and his mouth's all puckered. He's like that still gets circled around to this day. So it obviously had an effect on pop culture.
James Franco
to that extent.
is actually my favorite part of that movie. He's so ridiculously horrible. He's like, when he gets bonked on the head and he's got his like amnesia, and he's like, these are my best friends. He's like, I didn't see
he
it.
is ridiculous.
And then he's like, how's the pie? And he's like, so good. So, like, I don't know how to rank this movie because I think it's a horrendous piece of trash, but I adore it. So, like, I love it.
It's watchable. Then it's watchable.
But it's better than watchable to me. I love watching this movie, but it's really bad. So I just don't know how to rank it.
I mean, I like the movie. Like I said, I actually like watching it more than Spider-Man 2. But, I mean, I'm not going to try to put it up at even pretty good, you know?
All right, here, I think I have a way. How about it goes watchable? Because I'd honestly rather watch it before Fantastic Four.
What about
so I'm
decent?
willing to put it,
Yeah, can we put it in decent?
behind Punisher.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, definitely, yeah.
It's god tier for comedy films for me. And as far as like comic book Marvel movies, it's really bad.
All right, so I was like, speaking of really bad, we're ending 2007 with Fantastic Four: Rise of the Silver Surfer.
Ooh. Oh God! Wow. Well, you wanted to give Fantastic Four watchable because of Doom's suit, whereas Fantastic Four: Rise of the Silver Surfer, Galactus is a Nimbus cloud. The total opposite of what they went for in the first movie.
Yeah, and it was just fucking awful. Like,
the best thing they did
Silver
is they got
Surfer,
Morpheus to voice Silver Surfer.
I was like, he didn't fucking like do anything the entire movie. Like, he just like flew around.
Yeah, I will say it is really cool to see Doom step on the cosmic surfboard. Like, that was one moment I was like, all right, I would really like to see Doom actually do that, as he would pull some conniving shit like that. But besides that, the rest of the movie is trash. I remember there's a scene, I think, where Mr. Fantastic is like dancing.
Yes.
He's, like, drunk
I just watched this.
like,
It was his bachelor party.
To like bring two broads over to
Yes,
him
I
and
just
stuff.
watched this like 2 weeks ago. It's so fucking hilarious.
So it's unwatchable. Would you put it in front of Ghost
Yes,
Rider?
I think it's the front of the unwatchables, I think.
All right, yeah.
All right, I'll agree to that. Another movie that's the last one I watched was At
Well,
the
now
Party.
we have reached 2008, which is a seminal film in cinema history, where there's two releases that changed the scope of comic book movies for the rest of time. One of them being an Marvel movie, our very first Marvel movie.
Yep. So starting off 2008, we have Iron
God
Man.
tier, no question.
I think it's pretty
Short.
good. Like honestly, here's the thing. It is out of respect. It was the blueprints that all other Marvel movies decided to copy. So, I mean, I do have to give it that. But I will never forgive the fact that the movie ends with him just getting his shit knocked in by a later model fucking version of a suit he fucking made in the desert being piloted by the Bit Lebowski, all right? And he just gets his shit rocked in, and then he's like, Pepper Potts, hit the fucking button, and then she does, and then that's the end of the movie. It's the whole movie is this huge climax, and like, don't get me wrong, Robert Downey Jr., amazing performance, I loved a lot of it, but the end of the movie is such a wet blanket for me that like I've had trouble rewatching that movie, honestly.
I mean, for me, I would also put it God tier.
For me, like full
because-
stop. Still to this day, 12 years later, I think it's the best Marvel Studios movie. Like,
oh man, we are gonna disagree on a lot of these movies. Then.
like I agree that it's a weak like climax of the movie, but I think that the 80% leading up to that is so fucking good, and like I don't think that they've captured that since, just the world building and just like the feeling that it had. And I think that the one and only performance we see of Terrence Howard as Rhodey is just fucking amazing, and I fucking hate Don Cheadle as Rhodey. I really do.
Well, apparently that was Robert Downey Jr. like forced him out of the movie.
Yeah,
like,
well, it was a dumb fucking choice in my opinion, but I still to this day think it's so ridiculously entertaining. Like, I don't know, I think it's awesome. Like, I don't know.
I won't fight you on this. It is a very good movie. I know there are some movies later on in the MCU I will fucking not budge on, though. So we can move on from this. I'm fine with leaving this God tier.
All right. So God tier for Iron Man it is. And after Iron Man, also in 2008, we have with my boy Edward Norton, The Incredible Hulk.
The only thing that I don't like about the movie is the look of Hulk himself. Like, I think it was an amazing cast, and I liked like the aspect of him being in Brazil and shit. Like, I thought those were like kind of cool locales and stuff. But like, yeah, I thought the CG was just bad all throughout, and it's aged even worse.
Yeah, I would ask decent. It's okay.
Yeah,
Like it's better than watchable. It has some cool fight scenes. They have Abomination in it.
yeah.
They sort of hint at having Leader. But I honestly hated Edward Norton as Bruce Banner. I'm so fucking glad that they recast him as Mark Ruffalo.
Yeah, I think they did a good recast there for sure.
Like he put no effort in being Bruce Banner. He just was Edward Norton as cool guy Edward Norton. And it's like that's not Bruce Banner, you know?
I'm down with a decent.
All right, so end of decent sounds, because yeah, I'll agree. It's been a while. Like, it's one of those where I know, like, leading up to Endgame and stuff, I feel like a lot of people just kind of skipped. They're like, oh fuck, we're not gonna watch Hulk. Like, they just like watched Iron Man and then went like right over Hulk to the next one, because I mean, and it's definitely better than the previous Hulk movie that we have sitting at the very end of Unwatchable.
Yeah.
I mean, there was no tank scenes in this one, but you know, hey. So then, ending 2008, Punisher Warzone.
Unwatchable.
I think it's great. Are
you fucking with?
I loved this movie, not because it was a good movie. It was just like so satisfying after seeing like I said, I love the Thomas Jane Punisher as a good movie. But as a Punisher appropriate movie, it was so satisfying seeing him just no remorse wipe away hundreds of bodies, like not give a shit about anything. What's his name? Fucking Dom from The Wire playing goddamn Jigsaw was hilarious. I honestly, I think this is like my Spider-Man 3 for you, where it's not. A
Well, I was gonna
movie,
say, well,
but
that's what I
fucking
didn't.
love
I
watching
didn't
it.
find it funny at all. Like, I wanted it to be hilariously bad. I just thought it was just like dull bad. Like, I don't know. That was just my personal take on it. But I haven't watched it since it was released back in 2008.
I have not either.
Yeah, I mean, I really prefer the first Punisher movie to this one. And I'll agree, it's like he's more the Punisher, I guess, in this movie than I would say the Punisher was in the first movie. But I don't know.
I mean,
I didn't
if we're putting
really
it,
enjoy it.
If we're putting it watchable, I still think it's better than Daredevil.
Would you agree to that, Tanner?
Yeah, I guess on a
He's like,
technical,
I guess.
I like Daredevil more, but like I think on a technical level, I think Punisher Warzone is a better made film.
All right, I guess we will settle at Punisher Warzone in. I keep wanting to say War Journal in watchable, dude. Man, so now see, look, we're flying through these, dude. Now, 2009 X-Men Origins Wolverine.
Oh man,
I fucking hate this movie. I'm gonna be honest. I don't like what they did with Gambit. I didn't really.
It's so
care
horrible.
for
It's so horrible.
Sabretooth.
For me, it's so watchable because it's hilariously bad. But I could totally accept 100% an unwatchable.
I would do unwatchable. Like I said, I rewatched all the Hugh Jackman movies, and I didn't even finish this one. Like I see it like halfway through. I was like, I don't need to watch this.
Dude, where an unwatch? Would you put it behind Fantastic Four, Silver Surfer?
I think there. Just
I mean,
leave it where you got it hovered. I'm fine
All right.
with that.
I was gonna say, like, the fact that you said that you literally just recently went to rewatch it and couldn't even finish the movie.
Yeah, that's
says
true,
it all
yeah.
right there. So then next we have, oh man, another one. 2010 Iron Man 2. I know it's Tanner's favorite of
Don't
the
you
Iron
dare
Man
put
trilogy.
those words in my mouth.
All right. Here's the thing. I think this is God tier. I like this Iron Man out of 1, 2, and 3. I loved it. And not okay. You have Tony Stark as, the alcoholic, ridiculous asshole. I didn't really care for whatever fucking cyber disease that they gave him, but like him fighting Rhodey, him just being a drunk piece of shit. You have Nick Fury in it. You have the first appearance of Black Widow. It's basically the prequel to Avengers. It's the first Avengers movie in the MCU. They hint Avengers. I don't know. I honestly love the movie. And whatever you want to say about Mickey Rourke's performance, at least the fight scenes were pretty cool in this one.
I want my bird.
I like that they had Hammer too.
I think
Sam Rockwell as Hammer.
That's
I really like that too.
only redeeming quality for me is Sam Rockwell doing a fucking fantastic performance and Sam Rockwell in it up. And also the suitcase fight scene is dope. Mickey Rourke for me is so atrocious. It just is like undigestibly bad. And the rest of it is like,
remember him.
And the rest of it is like the whole like Tony dying aspect, and he has to build a new element from his Disneyland table. Was just like, I fucking hate that movie, man. Like, God tier, I don't know. Whoa, I wish I could see it that way. I would argue unwatchable. So Justin, you gotta help average this out here. Like, what are you gonna say?
Yeah, I think this is the first movie where we have two completely different ends of the spectrum on here. I fucking hate this movie. Like, I honestly, so that's the sad part, honestly, though, is I hate this movie, but I remember more of this movie than I do of Iron Man 3. Like, out of the three, like, I literally remember more from this movie than I actually do Iron Man. And I've actually seen this movie more than I have Iron Man 3. I would be willing to put it in watchable.
And we had, I'm gonna be. And we at least have decent. It's a decent movie. You have War Machine, you have fucking like I said, Black Widow, you have Nick
Are you
Fury.
thinking of this as a feature film though, not like a checklist of Marvel Comics characters?
I mean, yeah, the suit haze scene was awesome. The part I thought was also funny too. Sam Rockwell's hilarious. The part at the end where they're like arguing about where they're gonna be, and he's like, "This is the Hillbots. This is the worst spot." And then all the drones show up. Technically, you had Peter Parker apparently in that movie. Yeah, it's hard for me to argue it's separate from the MCU, which is hard for a lot of these movies, I guess. But I at least want decent. for this.
That gives me a fucking sour taste in my mouth giving it decent, but I don't got the clicker here, so move it where you want, Justin.
Right. Would you be okay? I know. Would you be willing to put it at the end of decent?
I'm fine with that.
I'll settle.
All
Since
right.
we had to fight to get the original Iron Man in God tier, so all right.
Yeah, that's true. See, okay, I'll agree to that. Since Troy was not about that, I will give Troy this one by putting it in decent. All right, so then moving on to 2011, Thor.
At the time of its release, like before it came out, like I was not looking forward to it. I thought it looked like absolute trash garbage. And then like I saw it and I really enjoyed it, but I feel like it's aged really poorly over the years since we've gotten other entries and stuff. So like I don't know. I thought the Asgard portion of the movie, like the first like third of it, was pretty darn good still to this day. But I don't know. I'd say it's like decent to pretty good, somewhere in there.
I would definitely put it in decent. I know out of the trilogy of it, it's definitely not my favorite, but I definitely don't put it at the bottom either.
Yeah.
So I would be willing to put it like in decent.
Yeah, I mean, I remember liking it. Like I think the same way Iron Man sort of did the blueprint of the like origin story. Thor did like the blueprint for the fish out of water, which they use a couple other times, like with Captain Marvel and I don't remember what else. But yeah, I remember liking it.
I would put it before Hulk.
Yes.
All right. So yeah, I'm fine putting it there. So then next we have X-Men First Class, also in 2011.
Loved it when it was released, and I think there's like some bad aspects to it, but I think overall it's one of the best X-Men movies.
Michael Fassbender was awesome. I loved his performance. I think what's his name as Professor X?
James
really
McAvoy,
good. Yeah. I think that Kevin Bacon was trash. I think that there's a lot of really like not like when did this come out? What year did this even come out?
2011.
Even for 2011, I think a lot of the jokes were really dated. Like you rewatch it, there's also like 7 montages in this movie. It has more montages than Rocky 4.
I liked the 60s aesthetic that they went with. I thought stylistically it was cool. Like they really made you feel like it was in the 60s. They did like a James Bond kind of style that they went for there. Like personally for me, I think there's like definitely portions of it that I like. Kevin Bacon's not great. Also, Frost, Emma Frost, horrible as well.
Oh yeah,
but yeah, it was played by January Jones, who couldn't act out of a box. But yeah, I mean those 2 main performances though are so good. For me, it's a great. But I can understand if we'd want to go lower.
I mean, we do pretty good, but I would put it in between the 2 other X-Men movies.
Would you agree to that, Tanner?
Why don't you give an opinion?
All right. I do like this movie. Like I know some of the later entries in like the First Class series and stuff aren't that great, but the first one I did really like. And after, Apocalypse, not Apocalypse, God damn it, not Apocalypse, the fucking Last Stand. After that movie, this was like a refreshing like X-Men movie that was actually like good. That wasn't just the I'm the Juggernaut bitch. So I'd be willing to. I haven't watched it in a long time either, but I would definitely put it before the second X-Men movie. So I think it's good there.
Okay, let's go.
You're like, all right, that's fine. Whatever. I'm not going to fight it. Dude, next we have Captain America First Avenger. Also in 2011. I honestly don't really care for this movie.
I think it's like decent.
I mean,
I don't have any like big arguments for it either way. I just think it's decent.
Yeah, I mean, out of all the Captain America is my least favorite.
Yeah, that's
one.
like obvious. Whatever. I don't think it's like bad or anything. I just think it's decent.
Would you put it behind Iron Man 2?
No. I wouldn't put anything behind Iron Man 2.
I put it at the front of decent, honestly.
Yeah,
like,
I think that's fine.
Movie.
Yeah, let's go with the front.
All right.
Like, I think it could be argued that it's pretty good. I think it's decent, but yeah.
All right, so then after Captain America, we have I don't know, a good contender, Ghost Rider: Spirit of Vengeance.
There's only like 2 parts of this movie that I think are really funny. Like the one is like when in this movie when he's evolving into the spirit, it's like Evil Dead. It's like it does like the claymation morph that like Ash does in Evil Dead 2, and I think that's cool. And then the very, very, very end of the movie before it hits credits, like the little kid like comes back to life and he asks Nicolas Cage, is like, did we win? And Nicolas Cage is like firing at Smoky. He's like, yes. He's like, hell yes. It like zooms into his face. It's like so hilarious. It kills me. But other than that, it's unwatchable. It's an unwatchable movie.
Would you say it's worse than the
I
first
think it's
Ghost
better
Rider?
because of how, like, you know, like how much Troy loved Punisher Warzone, like you know, that kind of shit. Like it's the same like aesthetic. I think is that movie. It's like it's really dark, like gritty, but low budget. And I thought that was kind of a
very low budget.
Very low budget.
I never finished this movie. I've tried 3 times and I had not finished this movie.
Yeah, I honestly don't think I've even seen this one. So I was not interested. After seeing Ghost Rider 1, I think I was at Comic-Con when they were advertising this movie, and I was just like, dude, I have zero interest in a sequel to Ghost Rider. Oh, man. All right, so now we're moving to 2012 with The Avengers.
I say God tier. I still think it's a phenomenal movie.
I remember when it came out, like when I saw it for the first time, like I really didn't like it. Like I thought the third act was amazing, and I just thought the first 2/3 of the movie were garbage. And then I liked it a lot more as years went on. And then over the last several years, I've kind of gone back to my original feelings on the movie. For me, I think it's pretty good. I don't know. I don't feel like it's aged pretty well. While you're hovering over that, one point I want to make about the original Avengers is it's the worst movie poster in the history of time. Like, from a Photoshop perspective, this shit drives me crazy. Look up the original Avengers movie poster if you want to laugh. Captain America is the size of a building in the background.
I mean, that's true. I don't know. I'd say it's better than the poster for Ghost Rider, though.
Yeah. What do you think about the movie, Justin? How good do you think it is? I could go great. I think I might update mine to great.
Yeah, because I was like, it's hard because I'm trying to separate like the hype of it from like the actual movie, because the hype leading up to Avengers was unreal, and you know they've been it's like mini Endgame, you know, like they were building up to this and then like finally getting to see all these people together. But I remember really enjoying it and stuff. I think we went to like the midnight showing or whatever for it. And, you know, I was kind of like sad that, you know, Hawkeye didn't really have as big a role in it and stuff, you know, since he was bad for 80% of the movie. But But yeah, I'd put it in great.
I will also argue I would want it at the front rate, but because I think Loki actually is a great villain, and I think that every appearance of Loki after this, they've tried so hard to be like, yeah, but he's got a heart.
Yeah.
And like this was the only time they're like
That's
the one
true.
scene where he's sitting there like and he's like gouging out the dude's eye, and everyone's like panicking. He's like legitimately laughing at the panic around him. I was like, damn, this is actually like a sadistic motherfucker. And I think that that's something that not just MCU, but like comic book movies have a really hard time letting good bad guys be bad guys.
Yeah.
I really liked Loki as a villain for Avengers.
Cool. All right. Front of the greats.
All right, I like that. And following up Avengers, we have at the end of 2012 the Amazing Spider-Man.
There were aspects of the movie that I actually really enjoyed when it first came out. I liked the high school aspect that they did with it. I like Andrew Garfield. I don't really like the skater Peter Parker angle that they went for. I thought it was cool that we finally got to see the Lizard. I didn't like the way he looked, but I thought it was cool to see him like whip his tail and shit at Spidey and fight him in the halls of a high school. So like I thought it was, I liked this, I actually kind of liked the fruit roll up suit. Like I don't know, like it was like super fucking shiny, but I thought it was sleek. I thought the chemistry between Peter and Gwen Stacy was enjoyable.
Yeah, I think that was, well, as they were fighting in real life, right? Those actors.
That's right.
So you'd see it on the screen. I thought it was okay. Like, and I have very strong opinions about Spider-Man, and I was like, yeah, all right, this is all right, you know?
Yeah. So what are we thinking? Decent? Pretty good?
I'm fine with decent.
Decent?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd put it in decent. I remember seeing it in theaters, and I thought it was pretty good. And I agree with you, Tanner. Like, I didn't necessarily care for like the look of Lizard, but I did like the fact that, you know, they at least, I guess, tried for him as the villain. And of the Amazing Spider-Man movies, it's definitely the better one.
Don't you know?
So,
Okay. All right, cool. Yeah, it's a decent one. It's too bad they couldn't keep the momentum going there.
Would you?
Of
put
course,
it
I
before Iron
fucking
Man
would.
2?
Yes, every movie in decent, in my opinion, is gonna go before Iron Man 2.
Tanner's like, write this down because I'm not gonna
That
tell
ain't
you
changing.
again. So then, starting 2013, we have Iron Man 3.
I'm the minority here. I'm one of the weirdos that likes Iron Man 3 just because I love Shane Black, and it's like we got Lethal Weapon 5, but via a Tony Stark film. Like it's like a horrible Iron Man movie. And I personally loved the fucking troll that Marvel did on like all of the world with Mandarin. Like I thought that was just like so ballsy at the time.
I thought it was super shitty that they did that, but also hilarious.
Like that is just like commendable as all hell that they had the fucking stones to do that.
There's aspects of this movie I like. Like I love the one scene where he doesn't have the suit and he has to like
he's got like a gun and shit. Yeah,
and like that sort of shows like the whole thing he's been saying is like I am Iron Man. Like even without the suit, like he can still, you know, jerry rig some shit and still have gadgets and stuff. I like that they had aim, though they butchered it. I don't know why they gave Pepper Potts powers. I don't know why it ended with him blowing up all of his suits. Knowing that there's a goddamn movie franchise that he was going to be in, let's blow up all the suits.
Well, at the time, his contract had ended, and they thought they weren't going to be able to get him anymore. And then he, of course, was like, okay, here's $200 million. And he's like, okay, sure. Yeah. But yeah, they didn't know. Because, yeah, he throws the arc reactor into the water and all that shit, and it's like, all right, I'm good. But then like he's back at it like next year. But like I don't know, I think it's decent. I think it's a decent movie.
I refuse to let you put it in decent before Iron Man 2.
I'll accept that. That's fine. I've shat on Iron Man 2 a lot, and I know that it's god tier for you, so I feel bad about it. All right.
Well, yeah, honestly, for me, I've watched Iron Man 2 more than 3 for me. I was pissed that the Extremist suit wasn't in this movie. And 80% of the movie was just Tony with a kid in a garage fucking fixing the suit. Like, it's like dad fixing the car and the kid's like holding the flashlight.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I would almost say it's watchable. I mean, my opinion,
I would straight up be willing to put it in watchable. Like, I don't.
Okay. I don't have hard quarrels about it. Like, it's not near and dear to my heart. Like,
yeah. I'd put it at the front of watchable.
Cool.
Oh man. All right. So, 2013 next movie, The Wolverine. And this shit was in 3D.
Oh my god.
It was. And I'd forgotten about that because
movies were in
interestingly
3D.
enough, I was looking at my Blu-ray of it the other day. I don't know why I picked it up, but it was like this weird, because I have this weird like director's cut that was pretty cool where like it's like gory and like he'll slice people and blood like splatters everywhere and shit. And it's a really fucking sick version of the movie, but it's like a 4-disc set, and like the main portion of it's like 3D. I don't remember the movie very well, but what I do remember about it is that I thought it was really fucking good the first 2/3, and then it became like a generic superhero movie the last third of it, and he's fighting like a giant mechanized samurai. But the first but the first 2/3 of it was like really cool, like Japanese, like movie.
Honestly, that's like. Yeah, the mechanized Silver Samurai was ridiculous. And then he like gets his. One thing that's always bothered me is he gets his claws chopped off, and then he regrows his bone claws, but they never like say how he gets adamantium claws for the rest of the movies.
Yeah.
But I really like it. Honestly, I would say pretty good, or even good in my opinion, because those first 2/3 of the movie are it's like James Mangold. Like,
yeah, he's a great filmmaker.
Then went on to do Logan. Like, I think what happened was, as I listened to the director's commentary of Logan, and we can get to that later, he talks about the Wolverine, and he said that a lot of he wanted to do things a lot differently, specifically with Silver Samurai. Like the reason they designed it was so that they could sell toys because it was a PG-13 movie, and so kids could see it, and he did not like. There was a lot of people who were basically forcing, executives that were forcing their opinions on this movie. So I think it's pretty.
Another interesting thing about the unrated director's cut is at the end of the movie, they put Logan on a mission to go somewhere, which it actually ends up setting up Days of Futures Past. But he's on a plane, and they give him a briefcase, and he opens up, and it is the Wolverine suit, like the comic book suit. Yeah. It's really fucking cool. And then you never see him wear it ever again. He never wears it. He just has it in his hands. But like it looks awesome. And then the world never got to see him actually wear it. But I'd say it's a great for me. I think I haven't seen it in like 10 years or whenever the last came out.
I would put it at the end, right? As I might have actually seen the version that Tanner's talking about, as I remember seeing that suit, like at the end, like the after credits scene. And I really like it. Like, other than one really bad scene, like they do have like Mirko, and they have like the snake chick. I don't remember her name, but I remember loving that they put her into it. Poison or whatever her name is.
Yeah.
I really like that movie.
Yeah, I've been wanting to give it another rewatch. It's been a long time, but yeah, I like James Mangold. He makes really good movies, so like I'd like to give it a rewatch. But I'm sure it's at the very least great.
Yeah, I was like my one thing that I was hoping with that movie too, since he was like in Japan, I was hoping they were setting up Dakin.
Oh yeah,
but it never happened because I love me some Dakin.
Don't we know it?
Oh man, so. Next, ending 2013, Thor: The Dark World.
I'd give it watchable, I guess. Like, I don't think it's like horrible, but I don't think it's good, and I wouldn't watch it again. It's just like a really disposable movie. Its purpose is to set up an Infinity Stone, a very strange one at that, in the film versions.
Yeah,
I was just gonna say, out of the 3 Thor movies, this one's my least favorite, and I think it's also the one I've actually watched the least out of the 3.
I think it is my lowest MCU movie. I
think that's most people's general consensus. Yeah, it's not.
It's a total step. It's a total step backwards.
It's a really disposable movie. Like you don't need to watch that shit.
So, are we in agreement then? It's at like the very end of.
That's where I'd put it. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I'm not gonna argue that. Next is starting 2014, Captain America: The Winter Soldier.
It's a good one. This is a good one. For me, I'd put it as like at the top of great, personally. That's my thoughts. First of the Russo brothers, who went on to make many more.
Yeah, I mean, I'm fine with top of the rate. I would even argue God tier. It's amazing.
It's good. It's great, like espionage, political thriller. Yeah, it was really well made.
Yeah, the Hydra aspect was so, like, the fact that they brought Hydra back, but as a secret society. I
literally changed the entire cinematic universe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I would put it God
I'm okay
tier.
with God tier.
I definitely think
I'm cool with it. No arguments there. I recognize that it's a great movie.
Yeah, for me, it's definitely like, I think top 3 for sure on like the Marvel MCU movies and stuff, and it's really good, and the action is still like solid and some of the best.
Yeah, the only thing I wish, and this is no critique of the movie at all, is that I wish I didn't know who the Winter Soldier was. Yeah. Because they totally set it up like it's a bit mystery, and I know people who went and saw it and they were like blown away that it was Bucky. And I, like, the moment they even said the title, I was like, oh, it's Bucky. Yeah. You know, like.
I'm sure that Troy is really stoked that they went very comics accurate with the look of the character.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, movie.
They're like, next you're gonna tell me Darth Vader's Luke's dad.
Yeah.
So then, next 2014, we have Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Unwatchable, man.
I think is the worst.
It's really
of this
bad.
Entire list.
Like, I can't even like. I could try to argue that watching Jamie Foxx is hilariously bad, but I don't want to sit through that again.
They do a dubstep version of Alaunt Him a Spider.
Yes. Yes.
And here's the thing, I was kind of laughing at the remark about Amazing Spider-Man 1. The love interest was really good with Gwen Stacy. Mm-hmm. And this one, it's so bad. Yep. It's so like, oh, I love you, but I have to break up with you. But then I'm gonna spell your name on the Golden Gate Bridge, but I have to break up with you because it's too hard. But then I'm gonna show up while you're fucking 5 seconds into an interview and fucking be like, I love you. But it's so like, if I was dating Peter Parker in this movie, I would have fucking killed him. Like, it's terrible.
Would you put it before Blade Trinity?
Personally, I put it behind Hulk. I think it is the fucking worst movie. I'm cool with it.
I'm cool with it.
I think it's terrible.
The fact
there is not a single. At least Hulk has that fight scene with the dots, and I can laugh at that. There is not a single fucking redeeming factor about Spider-Man 2. That his parents are. Wait, that is one thing actually. The comic accuracy of his parents being secret spies, that is canon. But the way they present it is so bad. Like, he has a secret base in the subway or something from some token that he found for the first time. I hate that movie so much.
Man, I can't believe that's actually at the end of Unwatchable. That's pretty surprising. Oh, man. All right. So the next on our list is 2014 X-Men Days of Future Past.
I think it's really fucking good X-Men movie.
Yeah, I like that movie a lot.
I would put it as great.
Wait, where is... There it is. Yeah, I remember it being really good because that was the one with the crazy fucking.
This is the one where they kind of for the most part fixed their horribly convoluted timeline, and then continued to fuck it up more with the sequels.
Yeah, I would put it at the front of rate. I think it's
I love better than Avengers.
I love that they put it all together. And also I have the rote cut, which has like 20 more minutes. Where they have this whole like side story with Rote, trying to like break in with Bobby into like the old mansion. And if you have not seen it, I would definitely give it a watch.
I never got around to it, but yeah, I'd forgotten about that, so I'll check that out. Because it's really fucking great, X-Men. Speaking of really great things, also in 2014.
Yep, ending 2014 is Guardians of the Galaxy.
It's another one for me, like, with the original Iron Man, where I feel like it was, like, such a moment in cinema. And, like, the first, like, 80% are so fucking good. Like, it's hard for me to stick them so hard with a shitty climax. Like, I don't know.
I don't even remember the end of that movie.
It ends with a dance-off.
Oh, yeah.
Well, it's where they have the Infinity Sand. They all hold hands and then blast.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think it's a great movie. I would not argue against it being God tier.
I was gonna put it in God tier personally. Like,
I think those two movies. I remember watching Winter Soldier and then Guardians of the Galaxy. I think they came out the same year, or at least 1 year separate from each other. And like those were the movies I was like, this changes the MCU.
Mm-hmm.
Like this is the Guardians of the Galaxy. James Gunn didn't just change like the movies. I don't know if you ever read Guardians of the Galaxy comic books. Basically, his version of Peter Quill, like he completely changed it. This was not a comic accurate movie at all, and it was so well done that the comic books basically changed everything about them to mirror this movie and just throw everything beforehand out the window.
Yeah, I mean, this arguably too to me has like one of the best soundtracks. In all of the Marvel movies.
So no disagreements here. Across the board, God tier for Guardians.
All right, I am A-okay with that. And then moving on to 2015, Avengers Age of Ultron.
I'm sure you remember my thoughts on Age of Ultron.
The first time I saw it, I hated the movie. I hated it because they did Ultron so dirty. I as a fan of Ultron and his connection with Hank Pym, like I later on have watched the movie and respect how they did it with Tony Stark, and so Ultron's personality has to be different because he was a child of Tony Stark. And there are, like, I love Wanda. I actually love the first third of this movie where Ultron's like just being started. They have that awesome party scene. Wanda and Quicksilver as villains was amazing. And then it sort of towards the end falls to shit and becomes a standard movie.
For me, it's a decent at best.
Yeah, I mean, I would put a little. I love Vision also, and they do sort of hint at Vision and Wanda's like relationship. And then he'll find Quicksilver. That actually, I remember that got to me, as I liked Quicksilver a lot, and like his relationship with Hawkeye. And then they kill him off, and that was the first time that I think the MCU had the balls to actually kill someone off and not immediately like revive them.
Well, I don't think it's it's a little ironic because we just got Quicksilver the year previous in Days of Futures Past, and so like I'm sure they're like, well, fuck, let's just kill this bastard because.
Well, I think like there was a deal somewhere where they're like, all right,
you can have him, but you gotta kill him,
and we'll have Quicksilver. And that's how it'll be.
Yeah, I was like, speaking of Wanda, did you guys watch that trailer for WandaVision?
I didn't actually.
I did. It was awesome,
man. Dude, it is so good.
It's
like it got me so
the
hyped.
Quality, because that's the thing that I've always been worried about. Like since day one, when they announced the TV shows, I wasn't sure like the production value they were gonna do, and it looks like a movie. It looks better than Mandalorian. I'm very excited for it.
Dude, did you see the Easter egg thing that everyone was talking about it?
What?
So I know Tanner hasn't seen the trailer, but in the beginning of the trailer, because it's like shit's like all weird, it looks like an old sitcom like Leave It to Beaver or like whatever, and it's like black and white, and like Wanda is using her powers and pouring a bottle of wine, and I guess somebody like translated because it's in French, and someone translated the label on the bottle of wine because it's like Le whatever, and then it begins like with an M, so it translates to House of M on the bottle. And I was like, oh my fucking god.
Well,
like that is
that's what
genius.
I assumed. Like, I love that attention to detail is amazing. And also the Halloween costume for Vision. Vision dressing as Vision in his own Halloween costume is more comic book accurate than the real Vision from the MCU. Yeah, no, it looks awesome. So watch that trailer when you get a chance, Tanner.
Will do.
Unless you're against trailers, which is also perfectly fine.
I'm on and off about them. I don't particularly care for those live action characters, so I just didn't really care. I didn't have any interest in the show, so I didn't watch the trailer.
But so back to Avengers though. Would we put Avengers: Age of Ultron before Thor?
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm fine.
You're like, that's fine. You're like, it's fine. Ooh, 2015 Ant-Man.
Ant-Man? I don't know, man. I think it's like decent, pretty good, somewhere in that range. Like it's a middle ground.
I like a lot of it.
Yeah, I really like I honestly like the first Ant-Man better than Ant-Man and Wasp.
Oh yeah.
I think
I would say
visually it was really cool. I think I've never gotten over the whole Edgar Wright debacle with that movie, and like we would have gotten an incredible piece of cinema if they let him.
The thing is, though, like,
but I still think we ended up with a good product, and it works better.
I would love
for what they're trying to do because all the movies got a match, and that's how they're going for it.
I would love to see like a timestamp. Like, you can see a lot of Edgar Wright in that movie.
Yeah, absolutely.
I would love to know. Like, I know the whole shit happens, behind the scenes. But I really feel like it's one of those situations where I bet Edgar Wright had like 80% of the movie is his movie, and someone just aimed to like snip in a couple scenes. I don't know. I think it's pretty good.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah, I'm down with that.
All right. I was like, then ending 2015.
Unwatchable.
We have the reboot of Fantastic
Unwatchable.
Four.
Let's move on. We don't need to spend any time on this.
It is very unwatchable.
I would put it behind Amazing Spider-Man 2 for the worst fucking movie on this list, and that's my personal opinion. But
I will, I'm fine with that. Because one thing that really pissed me off about the movie was that they took the shit in the trailer that was the best scene in the trailer.
And they're not in the movie.
And it's not in the movie.
The only good
parts. They have it like on a computer screen in the movie, like someone else is watching the trailer. Or
it's
something.
so fucking wild. Yes. All right. And that's all you need to say. Also, it's 85 minutes long, and Doom doesn't show up until minute 80.
Yeah. Well, and my main complaint about was they butchered my boy.
Oh yeah,
Doom.
they did.
Like,
boy,
they gave him like some fucking elven-lied powers. He has like metals. I was like, what the fuck is any of this?
Well, I was excited. Like, also in the trailers, like I was actually excited for this movie. We had a CG thing, and yeah, Doom was like set up to have some Latveria connection, that he was gonna have powers, like that I assumed he would learn or something, and they just completely throw it all out the window.
Yeah, I never even saw like any sort of. I watched a shitty cam of it, and that's the only version I ever watched of it. And I was like, that's fine. I don't need to watch any better version of this movie.
Yeah, it's really bad.
But now, 2016, we're getting to some good stuff again. Deadpool.
A game changer for comic book movies. I think it's great, really high up, top great. I think.
Yeah, I would definitely put it in great. It was really good. Ryan Reynolds
was
like
cast.
That was Ryan Reynolds was the one redeeming thing from X-Men Origins Wolverine
until they sewed his mouth shut.
yeah, until the end.
Yeah,
but I feel like that even redeemed itself by him acknowledging and like basically acknowledging the fact that that was like fucking stupid and making fun of it in Deadpool.
Oh yeah, great movie.
Yeah, and it has one of my favorite Stan Lee cameos where he's the DJ at a strip club.
Yes.
Oh man, I was like, then after that we have Captain America: Civil War.
I think this one's also great. Borderline, God tier maybe. I don't know.
So for me, if I have to do an MCU list, it is number one. I fucking I've watched this movie more than any other movie on this list.
I could go God tier, honestly. It's really fucking
yeah,
good. The introduction of both MCU Spidey and Black Panther, like fuck. Like
Black Panther. Wait, I honestly, this entire we had talked 2 hours about this movie. I fucking love it. I love the connection of Tony Stark. It's not accurate at all. I'll just throw that right out the window.
Yeah, Zemo.
Yeah, the Zemo. I still liked him, but yeah, I'm looking forward to see what they do in the Falcon Winter Soldier. Is he supposed to be the villain?
Yeah.
They did have. I will listen to a lot of directors' commentary. They did have the mask, and in the end, in the bunker, he was supposed to have a sword, and there was supposed to be a full-fledged sword fight, and they just figured it didn't fit the theme of the movie.
I think that's a good call. Yeah.
But I love the red herring, where the whole movie, you see all these flashbacks, and it's supposed to be like narratively it's setting up for a bunch of Winter Soldiers, like which all those people are the stuntmen for the rest of the MCU. Actually, that's a little hidden Easter egg that they gave the stuntmen for Captain America and Black Widow. The Russian soldiers, those are the stuntmen for the other characters, which I love. But yeah, they set it up, and the real plot is that Winter Soldier killed Tony Stark's parents, and I just, dude, I love this movie.
That was great. Yeah, no arguments. Oh yeah, there's no question. It's a God tier entry. Yeah, what was I thinking? Yeah.
Oh man. All right. So then, man, how far have we fallen though from 2016? Then we go to X-Men.
Yeah,
Apocalypse.
I want to go ahead and say unwatchable for me.
Yeah,
God, dude. Fucking Apocalypse looks like some knockoff Ivan
and
Ooze
that's
looking
the
motherfucker.
thing. It's like you cast Oscar Isaac and then you put him in this shit, and just he can't fucking move, and he looks like Ivan Ooze, and it's just preposterously stupid. I fucking hate this movie so much. I would rather watch The Last Stand. I'd rather watch Wolverine Origins. Any fucking X-Men movie. You name it, I will watch it over this fucking piece of shit.
Yeah, I will. I'll double that, and I just want to throw on another upsetting fucking Dark Phoenix bullshit. They have to throw in for no reason, with no setup whatsoever. Jean Grey has to become the Phoenix to take on Apocalypse. I fucking hated it. I think that they ruined Storm. I think they did a really bad job introducing her. I hated. They did some really weird shit with Archangel that I did not like. This is a terrible movie.
Trying to fight us, Justin?
No. It's definitely unwatchable. I was trying to honestly contemplate whether I'd rather watch Silver Surfer.
I would definitely rather watch Silver Surfer.
Yeah.
I would. Yeah. All right. I would almost say throw it behind the Ghost Rider movies.
I'll agree with that as well. Honestly, I would.
All right. Yeah.
All right, cool. Yeah.
Nah, all right. You're going a little too far. Wolverine Origins is also fucking terrible.
I was like, whoa, pump the brakes here. All right, so then after Apocalypse, we have 2016 Doctor Strange.
I think it's pretty good. Really high, pretty good. Top of the pretty goods for me. Or the bottom of greats, I guess. But I feel like it's got all the elements, and I visually speaking, it's really cool. I feel like there's a lot of Christopher Nolan and Scott Derrickson's vision there. It looks very Inception-y in a lot of spots of it. I just fucking love the climax of this movie. I love the final battle of minds, of wits, instead of a punchy finale. So I fucking love that aspect.
I did not like this movie, actually. I thought it was decent. So this is sort of when we were talking about Iron Man and we're talking about how it's the blueprint for all these other movies. It literally is Iron Man with magic. It's some really rich, sophisticated person has some sort of accident and goes to another faraway country. He gets some, Iron Man builds his suit. Doctor Strange builds his knowledge of the mystic arts. The Nemesis is an evil version of himself, a cautionary tale. It's the same as Ant-Man also. I thought the visuals weren't right. Like, don't get me wrong. I love looking at that movie. I love watching it in 4K. But the plot is just basic.
Justin,
it's very.
are you
know,
willing
yeah.
to come down to a pretty good? I know how much you love Benedict Cumberbatch.
Well, I do love him. Well, he does play a great asshole, and that's why he plays such a great asshole. And Doctor Strange is an asshole in the beginning, and that's why I don't think it should be hit on the fact that his origin is similar to Iron Man, because it is comic book relevant. That is his origin. It is very similar to Iron Man in that aspect.
Let me also say this, I remember the trailers for this movie. I remember Kevin Feige being like, "This is not an origin story." The trailers set it up to where it's going to be this really cool multiple timeline, multiple dimensions, and yeah, there is a time aspect, but also literally he's told don't fuck with the time stone. There's terrible, consequences. What's the first thing he does? Fuck with the time stone. Basically he's told throughout the movie by what's her face, the ancient one, hey, don't do this. He does this, has no consequences against him. I don't know, I thought it was a very basic movie, and we were promised something a lot better. That's also why I maybe hold it a little bit lower, because I thought we were gonna get some crazy awesome movie, and maybe we'll get that for the sequel. But yeah, I don't really care for it. I don't even rewatch it. When I rewatch all the Avengers movies, for a new one, I skip Doctor Strange.
Oof. Because, yeah, that was one of the big things for me, was the ending was, so good. The fact that he literally couldn't win. So it's by just redoing time, he basically just, won by, not giving up, basically, and just kept redoing it over and over.
You want to complain about Atlantis being a giant fucking cloud. What was the fuck in that Dormammu, alright? They did the exact same thing as Atlantis, where they made him a giant wavy fucking cloud instead of a dude with a.
At least he had a face.
Yeah. Yeah, he was easily 4 clouds, Troy. What are you crying about?
Oh yeah, I'm sorry, fucking Smaug over there. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, whatever. I don't care that much. I didn't really like the movie.
Are you down for pretty good, Justin? Can you meet it pretty good, or is it gonna pain you too much?
All right, I'll put it front of pretty good.
Okay.
Because I do like it, and I am hoping that in the sequel there is more multiple dimension stuff. But I love the fact that especially we'll eventually get to Endgame and stuff, but basically where they say that Strange is the best of them or whatever, and it's he's the Sorcerer Supreme.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah, we'll get to Infinity War. That's also what I was hoping for, and we never get that either in this movie. The end was clever. Don't get me wrong, it was a very clever ending. But he also doesn't really do shit the entire movie. He just opens up the time stone 3 times. He doesn't really have a lot of, and opens a portal. He's not really the Sorcerer Supreme, but they give it to him as he's the last man standing.
Dude, I did hear in the sequel that supposedly Brother Voodoo is supposed to be in it, and I'm excited for that because I do love some voodoo. So next up, 2017, Logan.
God tier.
Yeah, without question. I would honestly put it the front of God tier. I love this movie.
Really? Oh man, I don't know if I could put it at the front of God tier.
What's your opinions of the movie?
I mean, I thought it is good, and I do love some Old Man Logan type stuff. It's just I don't know. It's I don't know if I could put it in front of Winter Soldier. That's my thing.
So when we were talking about the Wolverine, and I was talking about the James Mangold director's commentary, also why he had to fight so hard to get this rated R, and it wasn't for the titties or the blood. It was so that he could have 20-minute long scenes with Logan talking to Professor X about dementia and getting old, and it actually is. You take out the fact that you have 20 years of this character, 20 years of You know, his relationship with Ian, whatever his name is, and Stuart Patrick. God damn it. Like
Patrick Stewart.
whatever. Fucking goddamn Captain of Star Trek. All right, I don't care, but hard. Like it is just a phenomenal movie. It's so good, and I love every single person. I thought the little girl that plays that 23, her breakout role. She'll never do anything as good as that. The villains, I loved every aspect of this. There is not a single thing that I think anyone can say bad about this movie, and I would agree with them.
There's also a really sick black and white cut of the movie too.
I know,
Yes.
I know. I have that too. Yeah.
All right, well, I'm going to leave it right where it is for now, and then we can, at the end, I guess.
Yeah. All right, we can revisit the God tiers at the end.
All right, now, 2017, Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
I really enjoy Volume 2. Like, I think it's high on pretty good for me, or bottom of great. I think, honestly, and this is an unpopular opinion, I think the second one has a better soundtrack than the first one.
I agree. Actually, I like the plot of Guardians 2 even better. The whole like connection with his father, like whatever. EO, not Helmet, another not Helmet appropriate movie.
Yeah, but he's Kurt fucking Russell.
I think it's a really good movie. I love the soundtrack. I love like the themes of it too. Like not just does Chris Pratt like literally hums to his EO. Like thinking he's better than the rest of the Guardians, you know, like, oh man.
Yeah, I'm so happy that you love this movie because I feel like I'm the only one that's ever championing for it.
Yeah, it's low on a lot of people's lists, and I don't know why. And I like that it's separate. Like honestly, almost nothing in this movie has to do with the MCU.
And I like that like so many sequels, like you know, especially something like the first Guardians when it's such a fucking huge hit. That where you make the same movie again, but James Gunn didn't do that. It's like here's a completely different fucking movie with these characters.
Apparently, like he had to fight tooth and nail. Disney had to buy the rights to use EO, and the only reason he would do the sequel was so that he could have EO. Because literally before the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie came out, like during test screenings and like some art shows and stuff, he knew it was gonna be a huge hit. And him, Dave Bautista, and Chris Pratt, like all got together, and they were like, "We're friends. Like we cannot let this change us. This is gonna catapult all of our careers in a way it's never been. Like we cannot, like let the EO get the better of us." And that's when he started writing the script. So like the theme of it, if James Gunn is Chris Pratt in these movies, like it literally is a metaphor for him handling the fame that he was gonna have after directing the movie. And I just love that aspect of it too.
Yeah, I think it's really good. I think it deserves a lot more cred than it gets, for sure.
Yeah, dude, as far as like sequels go and stuff, I mean, I thought it was great. For me personally, I still like 1 a little bit more than 2. But I pretty much, anytime I watch 1, I pretty much immediately watch 2 right after.
Cool. Yeah, so we're in agreement. It's a great movie.
Yeah. I will attest to that. And then 2017 also brings us Spider-Man Homecoming.
I love Homecoming, man. I love actually both the MCU Spidey movies. I think they're really good. I don't know how I want to rank it. Like I think it's really good. Borderline God tier? I don't know. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I'd be willing to put it at the front of rate even or after Days of Future Past. I don't really care. I loved it too. I think it's better than Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield Spider-Man. I think they like actually captured Peter Parker finally as a high school student. Yeah, I love it. And I love Vulture too. Michael Keaton as Vulture is so good.
Michael Keaton is just so good in whatever the fuck he's doing. It's like he's never bad. Well, he was in that shitty Tim Burton Dumbo movie, but he wasn't bad.
Oh yeah, but I did love also that his character was a vulture. Like he's the vulture, but he literally was scavenging.
Yes.
And for the first time ever, they sort of go back to the Avengers and they sort of say
it's so fucking cool.
That the superheroes aren't as good as they seem. And I love the inclusion of Tony Stark in it because it does sort of villainize Tony Stark. And there's that one awesome scene where he like Michael Keaton's talking to Spider-Man, and he's like saying like, "Hey man, don't you get it? Like they think they're better than us. Like me and you, we grew up on the street. Like don't you get it? Like it doesn't matter how good of a person you are, they're never gonna see you as your equal. You're always gonna have to fight harder than them." And I just love that aspect of like the villain literally trying to reach out to Peter Parker and make him a villain instead of just some standard whatever bad guy monologue speech.
Yeah. Tom Holland's the best Peter Parker, no doubt. Like that kid rocks it. He knows how to play that character. And
that
also, let's not forget that Donald Glover had a cameo as Aaron Davis, and that's fucking sick.
I was like, and that's what I really liked about Vulture too, was the fact that I like that they decided not to go like the mutant route like with him, but the fact that his like suit wasn't hokey, like it was like very tastefully done. It wasn't like Silver Samurai Mecha whatever bullshit.
And they
like,
also gave a quick little spout for our boy Shocker in that movie as well. Sort of.
Yeah. And they even hint to having Scorpion.
Yeah, Scorpion is in the movie, yeah.
Yeah, they like listed the majority of the Sinister Six and shit.
Yeah, so really fucking well made. Really another great like high school movie, way better than Amazing Spider-Man. I think they both did it good, but Homecoming obviously like God tier, or not God tier for this list, but like as far as like live action Spideys go, they knocked it out of the park.
Yeah, and I love also just I know we're moving on, but I love that he is a friendly neighborhood.
Exactly.
Spider-Man.
Yes.
Like
yes, you literally see him in neighborhoods in the movie.
Yeah, like the part where he like he's like just sitting there eating a churro or something, and they're like, "Hey, Spider-Man, do a flip," and he does it. Like that's what Spider-Man would do.
Oh yeah, also Iron Man's in this movie. I forgot about that. Yeah, like Tony Stark and Iron Man's in it, and that's fucking cool.
And they do like so. I know we didn't bring it up, but to go back to what happened in Civil War, I love that Civil War kind of retcons the end of Iron Man 3. And like he says, like Pepper and him are on a break. And like he says, because even though he threw away all of his suits, he couldn't stop himself from doing it again and again and again. And then in Spider-Man Homecoming, they sort of like really retcon it again so that him and Pepper are back together and that he's like in a healthier place in his life. Like I really like that. Here's the thing, I love Tony Stark in every movie that's not Iron Man. Like afterwards, like what they do with Tony Stark is so good and like respectful to the character.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, fucking love it. Really good. 2017 is a pretty banger year for Marvel here.
Yeah, dude, I was like, speaking of which, we are ending 2017 with Thor Ragnarok.
I love Taika Waititi, and I think the movie's fun as just a goofy comedy. I think visually speaking, I love really colorful and bright shit, but the movie itself is just like 100% green screen and a little goofy for me to watch in aspects of it. Like, I feel like it's kind of a betrayal of the characters, like, as far as, like, where we'd seen them up to that point, because then it just goes, like, really bonkers Three Stooges level ridiculous with Thor from here on out. But, like, I enjoy it, and I think it, like, it definitely revitalized the character, at least for the actor and for the audience, but, like, it's pretty fucking goofy, but, I don't know, I think it's fun.
This is one of the movies that a lot of people like more than me. I think I
enjoy it, but I don't love it the way everybody loves it.
There are so many things about this. Like, yeah, it's fun. Like, I will say it is fun. I love that Doctor Strange is in it. That's when we finally see Doctor Strange, like, actually being a boss, you know? Yeah. I love the relationship. Now that I've gotten past Loki not being a bad guy, I love the relationship with Loki and Thor. It's really fun. It's like they are brothers. And they do. It's a plan. It's the closest thing we'll ever get to a Planet Hulk movie. Yeah. You know, which.
Yeah.
But there's so much about this movie. I think it's not a good movie. I think the pacing's really weird. I don't like Hela is really like just thrown into the movie for no reason. It's very like for how many movies have they set up that Asgard is this like Amish paradise in space, and then out of nowhere they're like, By the way, rich white people are the devil.
Oh yeah, and Odin also is just like, fuck it. Like the whole movie's just like, I'm out. Whatever.
Yeah,
everybody
I don't think he gave a shit. I think they CGI'd his eye patch. Every time I see this movie, I'm convinced that he refused to. That he pulled a Wesley Snipes and he refused to wear an eye patch, and it looked CGI'd on. Like, I'm not joking. Like, rewatch the movie. I agree with Tanner. It's all green screen. It's not like really pleasant on the eyes. Like, yeah, it's visually cool, but like when you watch it, is kind of disorienting on some. Like, the thing is that the CG like on the Hulk is amazing, and then you have like the CG of like the like
the guns that
zombie,
they're using, really.
Like the zombie skeletons, and it looks like so bad. It looks like so bad in comparison. So I mean, like, I honestly would put this in decent more than pretty good, as there's so many things about this movie that aren't very good. I think with TD, Chris Hemsworth, and Jeff Goldblum had a lot of fun making it, but I don't think it's a very good movie. That's my opinion.
Yeah, I'd be down with the top of decent or the bottom of pretty good. What do you think, Justin?
Yeah, I'd be fine with either at the end of pretty good or front of decent. It's one where it's like I've watched it a couple times and it is a lot funner and stuff, but I kind of have like the same like kind of gripes about it. Like, I feel like they forced a lot of comedy like into it and stuff, like more than they really needed to and stuff. And I did kind of like the fact though that they did involve Hulk in it, since, you know, to this point, like, Hulk, you know, we were never going to get another like actual Hulk movie or Planet Hulk, as much as I would like that and stuff. So the fact that they kind of like finagled it around that, where like Hulk was like kind of like a main character in the movie, was pretty cool. But yeah, I'm fine putting it up at the front of decent. I think I would rather watch it over Captain America.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
All right, so now rolling into 2018, Wakanda, Black Panther.
God tier.
I think this is a garbage movie.
I knew it. I knew fucking Troy was gonna shit all over this movie going into it.
I'll let you. I'll let you say your piece. But this is that movie that I will straight up fucking argue is not a good movie. I don't
even know what to say, because I don't really feel like I need to argue anything here. Like, it's like, I don't know. Like,
all right, then let me say my piece. All right.
Yeah.
Civil War introduces Black Panther. He basically steals the fucking show. He's a badass Terminator. He makes no fucking jokes. He has a badass suit. His lines are some of the best lines in the entire movie, and they teach him a great lesson. He goes from like Prince to King. He like learns not to deal with vengeance and vendetta, and like has personal responsibility. And then they basically throw all of that away. He's like cracking fucking stupid jokes. There's so many dumb fucking jokes in Black Panther. Like, what are those? Like, that's so fucking stupid. He was such a badass fighting in Civil War. Like, his choreography, he did like that triple hit shit. And they throw all of his fighting ability out the window, and in Black Panther, he collects energy and then blasts it out. The suit CG looks terrible. And I didn't even get to the best part. They fucking T'Challa isn't even the main character of this fucking movie. They make Killmonger more in depth and more well rounded than the fucking title character of this movie. They make you root for the bad guy, and not even like, I didn't even like him. I thought he was a fucking terrorist, right? Like, I'm not trying to get into politics or anything like that, but he was Hitler level. He wanted to basically invade the entire fucking world with weapons and kill everyone, and then the movie doesn't even like fucking, they kill him, and T'Challa's like, well, I can bring you back to life. You know, you weren't that bad a guy. Yeah, like, you gotta, you know, I'm sorry that my dad killed your dad, you know, but you know, let's be friends, even though you murdered multiple people. You upthroned me. But you know what? I won't even have a good line like the end of fucking Civil War, where he's like, you know, vengeance has consumed you. I'm done letting it consume me, you know, or the living's not done with you yet. He's just like, I can bring you back if you want. And then Killmonger is the best line, where he's like, throw me in the fucking ocean, fuck you. And it's like, I don't know, they just take probably the greatest setup to a character ever. T'Challa is treated like on a fucking pedestal for Civil War, and then they treat him like fucking trash in his own movie. And I'm so sad that we won't get, a different Black Panther movie. It's terrible news, but I think this is a fucking trash movie.
Justin, where do you end on the spectrum?
Dude, I honestly think Black Panther is great. I listening to Troy. Like, I'll admit, yeah, like at the end, towards the end of the movie, when he's like getting hit with a bunch of shit, he is using this like suit blast feature a lot. But like the corny lines or whatever that Troy's like, he didn't even say that shit. That was like his sister.
I feel like the set decoration is incredible. I think like Killmonger, I love that aspect because he's the fucking best villain of the MCU. Like he's got. I mean, yeah, he's a monster, but also like he's got some relevant points. Like Wakanda's doing some really fucking bad shit in a lot of ways there. So like I feel like the emotional aspect there is really well. Also, good one thing to point out: this is the only MCU / superhero film ever nominated for Best Picture. I love Ryan Coogler, who made the movie. He made Fruitvale Station and Creed, which are both really fucking good. I don't know, man. Like, I definitely agree with you about the CGI. I think the CGI in the climax of the movie is horrible. When Killmonger and Black Panther are fighting each other, like, it's like really bad CG in that particular scene. But like, I don't know, man. Like, the score is incredible, and the Kendrick Lamar made accompanying soundtrack, which has nothing to do with the fucking movie, is amazing. But only one song's in the movie, and it's in the credits. But that's neither here nor there. But the cultural impact as well has also changed cinema. So you say it's great. Troy says it's unwatchable. I say it's god tier. I don't know how to average this out.
I mean, I'm honestly, I want to put it in great. Like, I think it is a great movie. I was like, is this the hill you're gonna die on, Troy, fighting this movie?
Like, dude, I don't feel like if both of you love it, I can't make you put it any lower than right. But I like.
Can it at least go ahead of Wolverine and Blade 2?
Cultural aspect aside, like, that's the thing. Like, you cannot say a movie's good or bad purely based on what it does for the fan base.
No, I just meant like the impact movie. Like we talked about Iron Man changed cinema. This is another.
Like, I just I don't know, man. Like, and that's the thing too. Killmonger is so well done that it just upsets me that the title character is not given the same level of respect, because never once in the movie does anyone acknowledge that Killmonger has done anything wrong. Like, he
that's because of their
100%
guilt.
is evil. Yeah, exactly. But the thing is, like, you can still say he's a fucking mass murdering psychopath. You know, like.
Well, I mean, he's still got murked.
Like Magneto. No one ever is like Magneto. I know, Nazis suck and the Jews were treated badly, but like, they still acknowledge that he's a fucking villain. Like, I don't think they ever even acknowledge that Killmonger's a villain. Like, and they kill off Claw, which I think he's a phenomenal. He's a phenomenal addition to MCU. I think he was done very poorly in Age of Ultron. I loved his addition in Black Panther, and they kill him off for virtually no reason at all. And like the plot too, it's like, all right, well, if you could have just went to fucking Wakanda from day one, why didn't you? Like, you have a rightful blood claim to challenge the king. Then what the fuck was this entire plot? If you could have just done that from day one and challenged him and whooped his ass. Like, that's also another aspect I don't really love. I don't know. I feel that a lot of people love this movie and, like, with rose-colored glasses. Like, they don't acknowledge all the things about it that I think make it not a good movie. Mainly, T'Challa is not even the secondary character. Killmonger's the main character, and I think that a lot of people are even more respect than T'Challa in his own movie.
Well, I was going to say for the why didn't he just go to Wakanda since he had the right? I'm pretty sure the reason he didn't was because he didn't know where Wakanda was, but the one dude did.
Who?
So he like worked with it. The dude who stole the adamantium claw.
Yeah, they were together in the first scene. So like,
yeah.
So then he
Claw
had
did,
the.
But he like wanted to earn Claw's trust or whatever, and then he like betrayed him, and then basically forced him to tell him where it was. So I think that's why he like wanted to get close to Claw.
So we'll settle towards the end of great.
All right, yeah. I was like, I wish it was higher, but I know Troy wishes it was lower.
I wish it was higher too, but I mean, he's made some good points. And like the averaging between an unwatchable and that will definitely keep it in the great area.
All right, so then moving on, in 2018 we have Avengers: Infinity War.
I think, man, I don't know how to rank the last two Avengers movies. I like them both. I don't know which I like better. I liked Infinity War a lot. When it first came out. I haven't watched it probably in a couple of years, but it had a good impact at the time, at least.
I like it a lot. I really like this movie. I think that it's like in my top 3 for the MCU movies. I think like Thanos is not how I'm accurate. I'll just say that, but like. They do a great job making you like understand his story. Like really he's the main character of the movie.
Yeah.
You know? And I love what they do with Captain America and stuff. Like him with a beard. Let's just be honest. Chris Evans with a beard. Like,
yeah, baby. Yes. I thought, you know what I really love? I love movies where the bad guy wins at the end. Like even though it's like intentional in this aspect, because you know there's gonna be a follow-up movie, but it's like I love it. Like Empire Strikes Back. Like the heroes lose. I love those kinds of endings because it's not what you always get.
Well, yeah, dude. I remember when opening weekend everyone went and saw it. Like everyone was blown away that literally half the Avengers die at the end of the movie. Like nobody was expecting that.
I mean, there's no sense of like bated breath though. I mean, like Black Panther just came out like 3 months later, made $1 billion, and then he like dies in the movie. So it's like, I mean, obviously we're not gonna get another Black Panther movie. That's not funny. I didn't mean it as a joke, but like. Yeah, like at that point, there's going to be another Spider-Man movie and there's going to be another Black Panther movie. So like those didn't really have any sort of impact to me, like because it's like
I will say,
I mean, you knew they were going to come back, but it was still a shock to me.
But like the deaths in
all.
Endgame were meaningful because like you believe them.
Well, see, so here's the thing: like Infinity War, I remember at least with my friends, we had a death pool going on who we thought would die. As we knew that the snap was going to happen. Well, we all assumed it would be Captain America, Thor, Iron Man, as we assumed that those characters would be the ones going, and then, the rest of the Avengers universe would carry on the rest of the movies. So it was kind of like the snap happened. I knew the snap was going to happen. I think you guys knew the snap was going to happen. You knew that people were going to die, but it then being all the
originals,
the brand new characters was kind of a shot. Like, yeah, I knew they were coming back, but it doesn't. Like, that's the thing. Also, I do want to point out, we can understand and respect. Like, oh yeah, we knew they were coming back. There's some people that hate that because they're like, well, I fucking knew Spider-Man would come back. So
it's like no shit.
Well, it's like, yeah, but also this movie isn't just for you fuckhead. Like I remember. Also, they violently kill Loki in the beginning of the movie. Mm-hmm. And I when I saw it at midnight, there was a little kid next to me. He was fucking crying when they kill Loki, like fucking 10 minutes into the movie.
Which goes back to what you were talking about earlier. They need to stop making Loki such a good guy, a hero good.
Yeah. Which they then Ian bring him back. I think Loki's died like 5 fucking times.
Hell, now he's gonna have his own show.
Yeah, but yeah, I like the little kids. Like I don't care that Spider-Man was coming back that scene still fucking rips me.
Yeah,
up.
it's great.
Where he's like, I don't feel too good, Mr.
Yeah.
Stark. And then when you leave the theater and you hear these little hints be like why the fuck is Spider-Man dead? Like verbatim.
Yeah.
Like it still as its own movie. I think is incredible.
Yeah, definitely near the top of greats for sure. I mean, I might even put it at the front of greats myself.
Yeah, I would put it at the front of greats. I do want to say one thing also. Another reason why Black Panther is useless, all right, is you can watch Civil War to Infinity War and nothing in Black Panther matters at all. Like, pretty well much. Like, you would watch the end of Civil War and then watch Infinity War, and it lines up perfect as it was the Russo's vision for the character. Just throwing it out there, all right? I will leave Black Panther alone moving forward, all right?
Well, we have nothing to discuss about him moving forward because he doesn't do anything. Good movie, Infinity War.
Definitely. Rolling on with 2018, we move on to Deadpool 2.
Deadpool 2. I don't really remember much of it, TBH. Like, I haven't seen it since it came out, but I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah, I would put it in pretty good. I mean, as far as sequels go, like, I thought the humor and stuff of it was still really
They did a much better Juggernaut in that movie than in The Last Stand.
The little kid he was with was pretty fucking funny. He had his prison wallet and stuff. Like, they had a lot of really good moments and stuff.
Visually, I think like Cable looked cool. Like, it was kind of an odd version of him, but I love Josh Brolin, and he was kind of already doing Thanos at the same time, so it's like, he had to do something there.
The whole scene where Deadpool's assembling a team and stuff, and then like they all end up dying within like the first 5 minutes of the mission.
Yeah, it's a fun one. Yeah, it's like, it's not the most memorable, but it was definitely a good follow-up. Hopefully we get more Deadpool at some point with Disney footing Bill. Who knows? I mean, Ryan Reynolds is like almost a billionaire now, so who knows?
Yeah, but I think he doesn't do it for the money. Like,
he just enjoys the character. But Ryan Reynolds has become like this like voice guy, it's like Pikachu, and then like all these commercials he's doing and like animated movies. It's like he's like all about that, like that snappy voice dialogue banter that he does is like become like his shtick now, which is fine. I mean, he's a fucking god at it. This is meaningless, but yeah, Deadpool 2 is a pretty decent movie. Yeah.
So would you put it?
I'd say pretty good. Yeah. I don't remember enough about it to give it a high rating or not. I've only seen it like 1.5 times or something.
Yeah, I liked it a lot. It came out with like 3 versions of it in the theaters. I remember.
That's right. They had Once Upon a Deadpool later on.
Yeah, they had a Christmas version, which was basically just the movie
for kids,
but with a Princess Bride like frame added to it.
And
and then they had the director's cut or something like that. Like, it wasn't the director's cut; it was something that was like supposed to be more R-rated. Yeah, it's a really fun movie.
All right, and then rolling into 2018 too, we have Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Meh, I don't know, man. I've seen it twice. It's pretty forgettable. I couldn't tell you much about it. Its sole purpose is to set up a plot point in Endgame.
Yeah, I honestly, so I love Ghost in the comics, and it really, that's, I think, what irked Speaky, like, Troy always, like, rips on him for, like, not whatever I'm pissed that Ghost wasn't, like, in the comics. Like, I don't even care that they switched, like, the sex. The fact that, like, Ghost in the comics is, like, this gross, like, dude who, like, basically the suit is, like, his skin, and he never takes it off. So he, like, fucking stinks and stuff, and he's, like, kind of fucking demented and stuff. And this person, I was just like, man, they butchered Ghost for me, which kind of ruined the whole movie for me.
I honestly have no opinion on this movie. It was fun, but I don't think I've watched it yet.
I'd put it at the front of watchable or towards the back of decent. Like, I mean, I feel like it's borderline unfair to give it watchable, but it's just not special. It's just like a throwaway movie, like The Dark World, if you will.
Yeah, and like commenting on the Edgar Wright stuff from the first movie, Like, there's none of that in this.
Mhm.
So you can tell there's a bit difference when they try to emulate it, but they can't capture the same feeling.
Yeah. And then ending 2018, Venom.
Venom for me is like unwatchable, but like I would give it watchable solely because Tom Hardy is giving it his all, being absolutely bonkers in that movie.
Yeah, he is super fun to watch. I actually like this movie a lot. I actually bought this movie because it's not what I want it to be. Like, I'm not gonna say it's a good movie by any stretch, but it's fun. It's really fun to watch, and it was nice to see something that wasn't the Marvel formula. As I don't know, like on the list, we've been doing a lot of Marvel movies, and this one at least sort of this. If anything, it reminded me of Blade and early X-Men and stuff like that, where it wasn't very good, but like at least it was different.
For me, it reminds me of Daredevil and Fantastic Four. Like I feel like it was, if it came out in 2004 or 2005, it would have blown my fucking mind. I would have thought it was the greatest goddamn.
Exactly.
I would have thought it was amazing 16 years ago, but like in
It should have been rated
2018, like I thought it was trash. Like, I don't know, Justin, your thoughts? You're probably middle ground here. I feel like you probably thought it was decent.
Like, I thought it was okay and stuff. I mean, we're getting a sequel with Carnage. So,
well, it made a lot of money. So, no.
Yeah. I mean, and I know it was supposed, like, they were working on, like, a Venom movie was announced back in, like, fucking 2009. Like, but yeah, I would put it as watch. I would honestly watch it before I'd watch Iron Man 3 again.
Okay. So what do you want to put it in?
Put it,
decent?
I mean, I could put it at the end of decent, or I would put it like towards the front of watchable.
That's where I'd put it, but Troy really likes it, so let's put it at the end.
Well, hold on. Do you think it's better than Iron Man 2?
I would rather watch Iron Man 2. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Well, then that's where it stays watchable.
All right. That was
like full stop. Right, so give me Iron Man 2 for sure. I'll watch it. I'll watch Mickey Rourke and his bird like all day.
So man, we're approaching the end here of the final 5 2019 Captain Marvel.
For me, man, that's like borderline unwatchable, but probably a watchable. Like, I've tried to watch it. Like, I've seen it technically, I think, like, almost 3 full times. And I've never enjoyed it in any of those 3 times. I thought it was really bland. And I love Brie Larson. I hate her performance as Carol. I think she's really wooden and stoic. Like, I don't know. Like, she's usually a very fun person. But she doesn't have that, like, fun blippiness of, like, the other, she doesn't have that chemistry that everybody else has. She's no Tony Stark, Like, I don't like this movie, like, at all. What do you guys think?
So, honestly, I've seen this movie twice. The first time I watched it in theaters, I fell asleep somewhere in the middle, and I woke up during, like, the last, like, 10 minutes of the movie, and I didn't have any idea what the fuck was going on. And then once it actually came out on, like, DVD, stream, whatever, I, like, watched it again, and this time I stayed awake through the whole thing, and I was like, man, I really didn't miss anything when I fell asleep, did I? Like, I was like for me, yeah, I don't think it's a
no,
like,
I don't think it's
like
I don't
bad,
think it should it can't be unwatchable. Like, it's not not a objectively bad movie. I just think it's a very, very bland movie.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if
I enjoy like the visual aspects.
Would you put Thor 2 in front of it?
I mean, I personally like Thor 2 better, but I think technically Captain Marvel is a better movie, like from a filmmaking standpoint. I don't know.
So I do want to say I actually really liked Captain Marvel.
Oh man!
Surprise, surprise! Different opinion. I only saw it in theaters, so I haven't rewatched it, and I know it's on Disney Plus, and I just haven't like even brought myself to rewatch it, so I'm not gonna like even say it's great. But I really enjoyed the experience. I liked the whole Kreese role mix, like, as they definitely set it up so that you hate the Skrulls. Like, everyone knows going in the Skrulls are bad. They even cast a guy who only plays villains to be the main role. I really liked that.
That was a good choice. I did think that was an inspired thing to do, like kind of like the Mandarin situation.
Yeah, I really liked Young Nick Fury and Wholesome. I'm glad I got to like see them just beat Hobbs again. Like it was really cool seeing like a not an origin story, but a Fury like origin story of sorts. Like I really like Sam Jackson. I thought the de-aging technology they used was
Marvel's the best.
Amazing.
Marvel just in general is the fucking best at
I don't
the
know
de-aging
how much
technology.
fucking money they pour into that shit.
The Civil War scene with Tony and as young Robert Downey Jr. is fucking incredible. Oh, fucking Michael Douglas. Michael Douglas and Ant-Man. Holy shit.
Well, for the Civil War scene with Tony, they actually had his son, and they filmed his son doing that, and then they CG'd Robert Downey Jr.'s face onto his son so that it looked better. So I mean, I don't know if they do the same thing for the other actors.
Really fucking cool trick. But yeah, I think young Coulson and Fury are really good in that movie, and I like the 90s aspect, like the soundtrack and like the Nine Inch Nails, Blockbusters, like all that visual shit that they did in the movie. I just felt like the title character, we were talking about Black Panther, it was just incredibly unlikable and boring. And like we know from the comics that Captain Marvel is immensely overpowerful. So it's already really hard to make a believable movie where you feel like she has any sort of challenge going on. So that's hard enough in its own. But I just felt like it was boring. I don't know. I didn't feel like I got anything original, I guess is what I was saying. It felt like what you were saying with some of those earlier entries, like it was like a factory-made movie where it's like, here's the Marvel formula, and this is how it works.
Yeah, it checked a lot of boxes. Yeah, and I will say I fucking hated the like dream sequence with the Kree Supreme Leader. Like I thought that was really for real, bro. It's 2019 and you're doing contact level fucking alien CGI. Like just do a giant face. Fuck off. You know, you don't need this. Like also that's I'm now shitting on the movie a little bit. They have this setup where they purposely are trying to have her not remember like that her past. Like they gave her a fake past, right? And then they purposely keep showing her shit from her past. Like the Supreme Leader is dressed as the woman.
Yep.
Like where's the face of the woman that they're trying to purposely hide from her? Like that just logically doesn't make any sense.
So where do we put them?
No, I honestly just really liked it. It's one of those movies where it's like watching it the first time because of the false expectations. I found it really fun. I don't know if I would enjoy it.
Where would you put it in proximity to Iron Man 2?
Oh,
you really love Iron Man 2, so that's not a good comparison. Where would you put it in comparison to Thor Ragnarok or Age of Ultron?
I would put it. Well, all right. I liked Age of Ultron better than Captain Marvel. I probably would even say that I liked Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Okay.
Better than Captain
Marvel. Would you be able to accept it in a watchable, or does it need to be towards the bottom of decent? Like I understand your.
Watchable is fine. Watchable is fine. I just really did enjoy watching it. Like I agree. I don't really love.
I just feel bad because I feel like we're taking the ones that you really like and we keep putting them in like watchable standpoint or like decent.
Oh no, I like honestly, dude. Captain Marvel is. I'm not gonna fucking.
Well, watch it again and then see how you feel about it.
When we go through all this again, like to see if there's any shifts. Like I'm not gonna be like Captain Marvel needs to be pretty good.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Fair enough.
All right. So then moving down, we have Avengers Endgame.
I mean, what can you say? It's great. It's fun. I fucking am my biggest love in like storytelling movies is time travel movies. I fucking love the aspect of time travel. I don't like the science of time travel in Avengers Endgame. Like I think it's the dumbest like time travel like physics, I guess, if you will, for most movies, but I dig it. I love that they go back to the original Avengers movie. Like I think it's a lot of fun. Obviously the emotional aspects of it when we lose Black Widow and Tony Stark, like it was a perfect ending for Cap and Iron Man, I think, and I think it shuffled those two characters out really well. I don't know.
I will say, like, you cannot watch this movie without watching
Infinity War.
19 previous movies.
Yeah.
Like, so as it is on its, my only problem with this movie, I enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun with it. That last like third of the movie is fucking phenomenal. One of the best fight scenes, if not the best fight scene. Like when it's basically the entire Marvel universe, all the portals open, and even right beforehand you have fucking Hap holding the hammer and all that.
Yeah.
But like, you only enjoy that moment because you knew that he would pick it up, or you wanted him to like. There's nothing in this movie that I think is really good if you didn't have the previous if you didn't love it really is a montage of the entire MCU. It's not really a movie on its own.
Well, yeah, I mean,
That's
in
really
the
only
scene
thing
that
I can say
everybody
about
like
it.
jizzes their pants over, like the portals scene, and it's like, okay, well, is it that cool? Like, they're just a bunch of people standing in a green screen. Like, I don't know. like, I mean, it's cool in concept, but like, I understand what you're saying. So great then, I assume. Can we do great?
Yeah, I'm fine with leaving it where it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, where in great would you put it?
Personally, I would stick it in proximity to our visuals right now. I'd stick it behind Spider-Man 2, personally, but I also think Spider-Man 2 should be higher, so that's kind of irrelevant. I don't know.
Yeah, I definitely like Avengers, the first Avengers, more than Endgame.
All right, so put it
and
behind,
Deadpool. Honestly, I would even say Deadpool.
So
I like
put
better
it
than
between Deadpool and Guardians 2.
All right. I mean, I agree. Like, it's one of those where you literally, that's the intention, is that, obviously that you will have watched all these movies leading up to this movie. It's not a movie that obviously can, like, stand on its own, but it's, like, the points that it hit and stuff were points that it's, like, like, Cap, like, attempting, like, that was one of the best moments in Age of Ultron, is just when they were drinking, fucking around, and Cap goes to pick up Thor's hammer and it wiggles, and Thor for a minute like kind of sits up like, what the fuck, and then nothing happens. He's like, whew, alright. Like, and the fact that they like got into that, and then like he's using the hammer and he's like, no, you take the little one. Like,
I don't know if this is just one of those like yeah, because so why a director's just saying something, like agreeing with the crowd. But Josh Whedon did say that when they filmed that, like, the intention was that Hap could pick up the hammer just then, and he's such a good person that he realized that and stopped so that Thor's ego was intact, so that he didn't embarrass Thor in front of everyone. I don't know how real that is, but I do love that being true. Like, if it, is why not? It's a fun movie, whatever. Like, in my mind, that's true.
you're like, I know it to be fact.
Yeah. It really happened in real life.
Now, 2019, probably Troy's favorite character, Dark Phoenix.
I think we've
this
spent
fucking
enough
movie.
time talking about Dark Phoenix.
Yeah,
I think
she's done being in everyone's movie. Now she has her own dedicated movie.
unwatchable, but I think it's better than Apocalypse.
Yeah, as there is a really awesome train fight scene, like at the end of the movie, that I would just watch that. Like, honestly, if you have not watched this movie, just find that clip on YouTube, and it's really cool. Other than that, the movie's fucking trash.
Yep.
Yeah, I have not watched Dark Phoenix.
You do
I
not
don't
need to.
really have any
Yeah.
interest.
Yeah.
You're good, bro. You're good.
It's, and like the thing too is, it sucks. Sophia Turner is really, like, I think she's a good actress in other things she does, but she was fucking, I don't know if she was just given a terrible role, or the lines were bad, or maybe she didn't want to do this movie. I don't know, but she is fucking trash in this movie.
Yeah.
And I know that's not her as an actress. It's just bad. It's like watching, it's like watching someone at gunpoint. Like, she's just reading lines, like, with no emotion.
All right, and then ending 2019, we have Spider-Man: Far From Home.
I loved it, man. I think it's great.
Yeah, I loved it.
Mysterio is like my favorite Spider-Man villain, so I was fucking stoked to finally see him in live action form, played by one of the greatest working actors. And like, it was a silly form, but like, I loved the take, and I loved the movie. I loved that it was in Europe. I've never seen Spidey outside of New York. Yeah, I just think it's a fucking awesome movie.
I think also there's a lot of, like, we were talking about the first Spider-Man, like, there's a lot of themes that are carried throughout the whole movie. Like, the aspect that you cannot trust what you see is obviously with Mysterio, but also then the whole fucking thing is Nick Fury is a Skrull the whole time, and that's, like, kind of explains why Nick Fury was caught off guard. Like there were 2 or 3 different times, like, you cannot trust what you see, like, echoed throughout the movie that I really liked. And it fucking,
the greatest stinger of all time.
It explained the, what's it called? It explained the snap, you know, like how things are.
Oh,
like,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
Really,
which is clever.
Like, I love that the movie starts with a really shitty, like, high school, like, memoriam video.
Yes, it's so fucking good. And lest we forget this, the greatest stinger in the history of Marvel, when they fucking bring in J.K. Simmons as J. Jonah Jameson. I cannot tell you. In the theater, I screamed like a child. I was so excited. I had no idea that was happening, and I was so excited. Fucking great movie. Borderline god tier for me, but I don't think it's quite that great. But I think it's really, really, really great. I'd put it towards the top of grades. Like,
would you put it in front of Spider-Man 1?
You mean Spider-Man 2? Homecoming.
Spider-Man.
Yeah,
yes.
I think so. I think Mysterio is just so fucking great. Oh, that's just personal, but I mean, you could flip-flop the two, honestly. Either way, they're both really good Spidey movies.
Yeah, I did really like that they sort of had MJ finally. Like, the love interest was there. I like that they had Ned. Like, I liked that basically everyone from the first movie got even more exposure and, like, more depth to them. So yeah, I'm fine with it being.
And it also another one that just completely changes the whole MCU from here on out. We don't know what happens because we haven't had another fucking movie since then. But, like, in theory, things are going to be quite different going forward, or they're going to just wipe it all out with one simple movie.
Well, yeah. What's kind of crazy too is the thing, like, they had this plan of, like, giving us a break after Spider-Man. Like, there was supposed to be a breathing room, and they did not plan for it to last, like, 2 fucking years.
Yeah, well, that is like, they're planning on, okay, we got Cap and Iron Man out of here now. We'll have Spider-Man and Black Panther take over as the 2 main ones, and now they're out one of those. And the other main one is owned by a different studio. So, like, who knows what they're going to do? Like, it's pretty up in the air. None of us have seen New Mutants, so we'll abstain from that. One thing I do want to point out is that arguably the best movie is not included in this thing that we have here. And I think that is a film that Justin recently got to finally see for the first time. I'm talking about Into the Spider-Verse.
Oh, literally when we started this, I noticed that Into the Spider-Verse was not.
And if
there.
you ask me, it would be in front of every single fucking movie on this list.
I would put it God tier, without a doubt.
Yes, I would have loved to put Into the Spider-Verse on here, but that it's not a live action Marvel movie since it's animated. So if it was on this list, I 100% agree. I would put it in front of Iron Man. It would be number 1 on God tier. It was fantastic. I loved it. I do wholeheartedly regret waiting as long as I did to watch it. But when I did finally watch it, I was like, all right, all the hype, the nominations, but it was 120% deserved. Like, it is great.
We did it, guys. It took 3 hours, but we got through the entirety of the Marvel movies.
All right, so our list as is right now. Is there anything before reading off the final list that you would want to move or change or anything?
Honestly, talking about it with Troy, like, Civil War, man, I might want it higher on the God tier scale.
Yeah, I was actually going to ask you guys if you really think Iron Man is better than those 4 movies.
I think Civil War might be the best of them all. I don't know.
It's my favorite.
How would you order this top 5 then? Like, what would be the order that you would put these top 5?
It's hard. I think for me it would be Civil War, Iron Man, Guardians, Logan, Winter Soldier. And that's only because, and I adore Logan. It's just because of how fucking dour of a movie it is. I don't watch it that much because...
Yeah. I would say I mostly agree with this. I'm going to abstain from commenting on Iron Man. I think it needs to be way lower on the list, like entirely.
I'd flop Iron Man and Guardians. I think the impact of Guardians was a...
Yeah, I think that I'm fine with the odd tier section as is. I'm just glad Logan's on there, because it's nice to see a non-MCU movie also on the odd tier list. I wouldn't say that... I think an argument could be made almost that Deadpool could go to the end of odd tier.
I think that's fair. I was honestly really thinking about it. Yeah.
Yeah, it was really fun. It being rated R, it like also being aware of itself, it fixes so many problems like with the X-Men universe. There's like, who gives a shit, you know? Like, and that's probably the attitude of every X-Men executive at Fox. Like, who fucking gives a shit?
Yeah, and in terms of like comic book, straight up breaking the fourth wall, like just fucking around, like it hit all those points.
Yeah, it was a perfect movie for what it was. For what it was, it was perfect.
All right, any other changes you think looking over this?
We could debate Black Panther all night, but I don't care about it that much. Like, it's not one that's near and dear to my heart. The one that is Spider-Man 2, and I know it's not going to go higher than great. But is there any budge room to move it slightly higher in the greats category? Is there any movie it could usurp there? I know we got a lot of Spidey right there, too.
I guess it's dependent on, would Troy be okay with it moving in front of Avengers, since I know Troy really likes Avengers.
I mean, I know that Tanner kind of made the comments, I didn't think about it before, but now I'm looking at it as like, you got Iron Man, odd tier. You have Spider-Man 2 and Black Panther as right, and none of those movies I would even put in either of these two categories. So, I mean, don't ask me if it's better than Avengers, like, as I'm just going to tell you no, it's not.
He holds a good point, because those all had a vote for really bads. So, in a democracy level, they stay where they're at.
All right, yes. Yeah, I agree with that. So... besides that, I mean, I think everything else, I just threw New Mutants at the end of watchable. None of us have watched it, but I can only assume it's better than Fantastic Four.
I don't know. With the history of that movie, man, it could be really fucking horrible. It could be really bad.
Here's what I will say. If they did, instead of Mulan, or in addition to Mulan, they put New Mutants up for $30, I would pay the $30 and I would watch it just to see.
I'd do it for 20, I think.
Yeah, I don't think I could pay more than 20.
Well, here's the thing. If you went and saw it in theaters, both of you, I don't know, Justin, are you married? You're Yato married, at least. Like, yeah. Both of you would be bringing your wives. That's over $30 right there if you went and saw it in theaters. So would you see it in theaters?
Let me stop you right there, because one, Megan would not fucking do that. I was like, two, I have A-list, so... I pay the whatever $20 a month, so it would technically, I guess, like be free yeah. or like. Whatever.
But I'm not gonna risk COVID for it. I risk COVID for Tenet, and that's the only movie. Unless Dune actually is released in December, that's the only movie I'm gonna risk COVID for.
God damn! I really hope it's not released, just so, or at least the theaters are open around here, because I really want to see Dune.
Yeah, I will risk COVID one more time this year for Dune, but other than that, I'm out. If they released Wonder Woman 84, I wouldn't see it. But Dune, I'm there.
But yeah, as far as this list, I'm fine with it as is.
All right, so our final ending list for God tier, we ended with Civil War, Guardians, Iron Man, Logan, Captain America, Winter Soldier, Deadpool. Great. We got Avengers Infinity War, X-Men Days of Futures Past, Spider-Man Far From Home, Spider-Man Homecoming, Avengers, Spider-Man 2, Endgame, Guardians 2, Black Panther, Blade 2, The Wolverine in 3D. Pretty good. We got Doctor Strange, Spider-Man, X-Men, X-Men First Class, Deadpool 2, Ant-Man, X2, and Blade. Decent. We got Thor Ragnarok, Captain America Winter Soldier, The Punisher, Spider-Man 3, Avengers Age of Ultron, Thor, The Incredible Hulk, The Amazing Spider-Man, Iron Man 2, Watchable, Ant-Man and the Wasp, Captain Marvel, Venom, Iron Man 3, Fantastic Four, Punisher Warzone, Daredevil, X-Men Last Stand, Thor The Dark World, New Mutants. I'm just throwing it there since we don't... By default, because I don't feel it's unfair to put it in unwatchable just because none of us have watched it. And then in unwatchable, Fantastic Four, Rise of the Silver Surfer, Ghost Rider, whatever of Vengeance, Ghost Rider 1, Dark Phoenix, X-Men Apocalypse, X-Men Origins Wolverine, Blade Trinity, Elektra, Hulk, Amazing Spider-Man 2, and Fantastic Four.
The 2015 version of Fantastic Four. And also...
Yeah, the reboot.
And asterisk, if animated was included, Spider-Verse would be ahead of every single film on this list.
Yes, it would be God tier. All in all, I think it's a pretty well-balanced list. I mean, there's not one really overpowered. Like, there's just as many in great as there are in unwatchable.
I think if you post this image online, I think the thing we'll get shat on the most for is just having Thor Ragnarok is decent, but I have no quarrels with that.
Actually, as you were reading the list, I almost was like, man, The Punisher should be pretty good. I actually like that movie, the Thomas Jane
I'll have to
one.
give it another try. It's been like 10 or 12 years or so.
Yeah, I mean, don't change it. Don't change it. I'm fine with the list.
I'm not going to change it, but I, honestly, if it was up to me, I would put The Punisher in great because I fucking love that movie, but if Constantine was on this list, it'd be God tier too, so what the fuck do I know? But, yeah, I mean... It has been, if you've stuck around to this point, I know it was very long, almost as long as Endgame, but you know, it was a lot of fucking movies to get through, and I'm surprised we were actually able to get through all of them, and I think we did. I mean, I don't think we were really unjust in rating anything. I think pretty much everything was validated where it's at, besides the couple where me and Tanner thought it was like really good and Troy was like, hold the fuck on.
Which really, that's only like 2 movies on this list.
Yeah, that's true. That was true. I will say, I do think though Black Panther next to Guardians has the best soundtrack.
And I still say that Guardians 2 has a better soundtrack than Guardians 1. But I will put the Kendrick Lamar Top Dog Entertainment soundtrack for Black Panther above both of those.
All right, well, dude, I appreciate both. I mean, Troy's like sitting in the fucking dark.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, the time difference is so late out here.
Yeah, that is true. In Washington right now, it's like 2:30 a.m. and it's like 2007.
Yeah.
May. But I mean, I appreciate both you guys coming on. Do you guys have anything before we head out of here?
No, I think I've taken up enough of people's time.
Well, the only thing I will say is if you really do like comic book stuff, I do have a podcast called Heymanzzzz Atrocity, where I basically just retell the stories of comic books. So actually a lot of these movies, if you liked them, I probably have an episode where I go into the origins based on these movies in comic books. And I'm sure this time Justin will definitely leave a link to my page or something for this podcast. I'm sure he will do it this time.
This time for sure.
Yeah. So if you listen to fucking 3 hours of us talking about comic book movies, you probably wouldn't mind listening to a half hour of me just talking about Onslaught or fucking Hang the Hunter, which is crazy. When Ant-Man 3 announced that they were going to do Hang the Hunter, the YouTube, I have an episode that goes into the origin of how he's like the descendant of Reed Richards and stuff. It had like 30 views on YouTube. Afterwards, it hit like 500
Fuck,
views.
that's awesome.
Jesus.
Yeah, as I don't think a lot of people ever talked about him, and they're like, what the fuck
All right,
is
Justin,
this dude?
you got to put a tag on this podcast that says Kang the Conqueror. And then when they get to
There
the
you
end,
go,
they'll
that's-
hear Troy put that plug in there, and they can go, oh, fuck, I got to go find that video.
That's how you get it.
Yeah.
I was like, speaking of plugs, Stan, are you gonna plug your podcast?
God damn you fucking bastard. Yeah, I'll plug it for like the 4th time. No, yeah, you can follow me on Twitter. Maybe he'll tag me in it. I guess my handle is still there. You can just follow me at Tanman1.
Yeah, and I posted 2 of them. I did some card opening videos, and if you watch those, thank you. And I have the 3rd part. I still need to edit it, but it should be out sometime next week with the finale of opening my like 50 booster packs of Magic that I fucking dropped like $150 on last week. But besides that, thank you everyone for listening. I'm gonna also, on the Facebook page and Twitter and stuff, I'm gonna post the picture of the final result of the tier list that we did, and I can post the link to the tier list as well if you would like to sit down and go through it yourself. If you agree or disagree with any of where we put the movies, you can dispute it, I guess. I don't fucking care. But thank you for listening, and see you later.